He's got the mind to build a land. Every creature, spell, and grain of sand to Arabelle where life was grand. He brought the stone, now take a stand. Maps and dice, he lays it down. Are we enough to save the crown? A twist of fate, a roll of chance. In Feanor's domain do stories dance. Come join this world where magic flies through caverns dark and open skies. His crafted dreams for us to roam, an epic quest to save our home. He speaks with voices old and wise. Goblins roam and heroes rise. With every turn a new surprise, brought to us to fantasize. From dusty tomes and ancient lore to battles fierce and treasures more, you've got a place, an open door. Adventure calls you can't ignore. Join Feanor's world where magic flies through caverns dark and open skies. His crafted dreams for us to roam, an epic quest to save our home.
All right. Welcome and welcome back, Mythlanders. We're coming into session 32 of Goblinstone. It's been a hell of a fight the last few sessions, with our heroes attacking or storming the docks, where a veritable horde, a massive amount of hobgoblins were attacking the docks. The fight got rather tense, and many of the hobgoblins were able to board the ship, slaughtering a lot of the defenders and forcing the captain and some others below decks. But they were not without their plans. As our heroes sort of started taking down and pushing in on the hobgoblins, some of them continuing to move onto the ship, a cannon blast and then a massive explosion rocked the area, tearing a huge chunk, destroying the mast and the central portion of the ship. And the remaining veterans and several other hobgoblins. The party was able to finish off one veteran and a few other hobgoblins. To the north, the magic users with the Staff of Ogma tried to escape, was taken down, and other hobgoblins grabbed the staff and passed it to each other. Two of them ran off, and Clifford closed in pretty quick pursuit. X looks like he's going to be going after Clifford as well. But there's a few heavily wounded among the party. Millie and Helena went down several times, as did Lokag. Lokag has climbed up onto the ship, helping to finish off some of the hobgoblins with axe and hatchet, and is now exploring the hold, stumbling over the remains of the defenders and finding some pirate booty. Meanwhile, Helena and Millie are still on the dock, eyeing the townsfolk as they swim to the docks and begin pulling each other up. And as yet have not decided whether they're going to try to help the confused and frightened townsfolk, or if they're going to follow after X and Clifford and try to reclaim the Staff of Ogma. That would be the second relic of Arabelle, relic of the Tuatha Dea, the hero gods of the city. But yeah, I mean, almost a couple of minutes of heavy combat. All the rounds and such tallied up. There's a lot of bodies, and not all of them are defenders. More than half of them are hobgoblins and bugbears. The suspicious halfling, Palin, vanished in the midst of the fight and has not been seen. And that has to have some of our heroes wondering what he might be up to. You all know the goblinoids had been down here for at least a day and a half, kind of slowly working their way in, and from what you can tell, pushing the defenders back onto the ships and onto the island in the midst of the river. We paused just at the end of combat as Clifford was taking off after the fleeing hobgoblins, one of which has the staff of Ogma. Before we jump back into it, however, what did we leave out? And what are you all thinking about doing? So let's start with you, X. What did I leave out for our recap? And what do you think X's plans are coming into this session?
X's plans are certainly to hunt down that staff. Absolutely, that's the thing that he would want to be doing. As for stuff we left out, I mean, that boat is absolutely destroyed now. I don't think it's good for anybody. It's probably sinking by now, with Locag standing on top of the deck drinking all the booze. I know that the whole party's pretty much out of resources. We're out of spells, we're out of rages, we're out of pretty much everything we could be out of. So I think that battle was about as taxing as it could have been, and we'll have to get this staff and see if there's any survivors and see if we can rescue people from the island. So lots to do.
Okay, yeah. Well, Jay Fink, what about you and Millie? Anything I left out, or any plans you want to tell us about for this coming session?
Not a whole lot left out. Just, I think we're trying to figure out what we can find, what we can recover from all this combat. I think Miller's plans can't really get to where they're going up there in the north, and even if I did, can't really help anyway. So hopefully just focus on helping the people down here off the shore.
Okay. How about Pon and Helena? Anything I left out from last session?
I don't think that there was anything left out. Almost dying is pretty intense. Helena could be a little bit more conservative, but she won't listen to me. So, I love already in the comments. We've got long rest because we were getting that a lot last session. That was my personal highlight. I completely agree with that sentiment. We definitely need that.
Would be rather useful for sure. Well, what about you, Nick? What did I leave out? And I think we know what Clifford's plans are. Try and chase down.
Yeah, I think Clifford is covered in blood. Really, just he's fiery and raging. He's going full pirate at this point. So I don't know how clear I was with that, but he's in a, he's got this blood rage from having become this goblin and stabbed this leader and these other. He's all in. So he's very one track at this point. He's like Craven the Hunter, right? But hopefully not as bad as that movie.
Maybe not scrambling on all fours. Yeah.
Not quite. But he's getting there. That movie was actually kind of fun. But yeah, so he's he's on the straight track here to just take these guys down. So, and he does have climbing. He does have that potion of climbing still running, so he can totally do all the cool stuff that they did in Craven. I think.
Heck yeah.
That's just canon, right? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not the Marvel universe, I know.
No, but it helps to, it's often at the table we'll reference other movies and stuff, so we can get what we're thinking in the minds of the people at the table.
Yeah,
so
pop culture.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
What are Cliff's plans? Parkour.
Hardcore parkour.
He's
get that parkour.
Yeah.
What about Lokak? Anything left out, or any plans for you? Oh, looks like you're muted.
Thank you very much. I think Lokag is going to, continue to enjoy some whiskey, perhaps try and take as much valuable stuff off the ship as it might be sinking. It might not be. I don't know yet. So I guess we'll find out.
Find out soon enough. Right. Well, I think it's time for a little bit more suspenseful music.
Salt water is going to feel really bad in all those cuts, Lokag. I'm just saying.
Plus all those
refreshing.
crated lemons.
Oh, God.
All right, so starting off here back at the docks. I think we'll should be able to see. Oh, it's underneath our logo. Let me zoom out a little bit more then. So Tar and Wynn and Newton are still kind of clustered together. The last thing they did was fire on. They began darting around, perhaps to aid X and Clifford, or perhaps to help with the townsfolk and such. So as they're sort of running up to Helena and Millie, say anything to them, direct them in any particular direction, or do you leave them to your own devices and focus on what you're doing?
I feel like I would give some kind of sharp command to something.
Nothing else, just to be telling people what to do.
yeah, basically. Probably yelling at him to help Millie, and of course she's perfectly fine.
Right.
Elena's totally fine. Just go on past her and help Millie, and she's fine.
Okay, they do. Once Wynn is abreast of Millie. Where do you want us? Kind of out of breath as they're jogging.
Are they
Probably
asking?
best
They're
to
asking
get a
Millie.
lookout. Probably best to get a lookout on this area. Make sure no others come.
Wynn looks around to the flaming buildings, the mast, sort of, the bottom part of it has been, exploded, and so part of it sort of punched down into the hull and then fell over. She points over to the far building, all the way back east or west where you all came from. Looks like the highest point.
Yeah, that one there. 1 point more southwest.
Not as tall, but could do.
Might be the safer if that fire catches the other.
Right. So ping again, and let me see where that was. I did not.
Very bottom south building.
Oh, okay. All right. You heard him, Tar. Hop off, kind of slip past you, and beginning darting in that direction. Didn't mean to do that. Coming back around to the top of the order is X. You can see that the two hobgoblins have darted around the corner of a building. There's smoke from what likely, certainly burned buildings, and maybe still some living flame. It's maybe a 15-foot wide passage in between two of the buildings. It looks like another cluster of warehouse-like buildings.
I can move 105 feet, so I will
Damn.
do a move for 35, a dash for 35, and then bonus action, cunning action, rogue movement for another 35.
Okay.
So off the map I go. Meow.
Yeah, how far away are they?
All right, let me see here.
Well, they're like
I'll
60
start
feet away. They're 60 feet off the map or something, yeah?
Yes.
Wow. Turbo!
I'll be switching to my daggers as I run.
All right, let me just double check. Measurement one more time. So for a moment, you will be in Theater of the Mind until we transition sort of between maps, running up the rocky incline. Now, Clifford, you had already sort of dashed off. Attack of opportunity on you from the hobgoblin that was trying to guard you.
Right.
Missed you
I
last
chose
session.
that. I chose to base them. So at this point, in theory, he should have be like right behind them.
Okay, well, yeah, what's your total movement right now?
A 30.
Okay, so you, with a dash.
60.
Let's see here. Alright.
And he's looking rather feral. It's actual foam coming out of his mouth. He's wielding a rapier at this point.
So, as you charge up the hill toward the buildings, there's a sort of burned out, dilapidated wooden roofed shack. It's still smoldering, and the area ahead is, you can see at least the low areas between the buildings is pretty densely thick with smoke. So as you charge in, your sightline is limited.
All right. Yeah, he'll roll right through it. He'll roll right through it and use his blind sight to kind of guide him through the smoke.
Right. Might be having a minor technical difficulty. Give me just a moment.
All right. He screams in Goblin, "You're not getting away with that staff. Just drop it and maybe you'll live."
I'm going to bring you over to a new map and let me know if you can
Ooh.
see this.
Cool. New Map City. Oh. Oh. I see a new map.
Oh,
It's so smoky.
spoopy.
Alright.
All right, give me just a moment. Something is
Yeah,
not
yeah.
quite right.
Okay, yeah, I got a glimpse of it, but I won't.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Tell me when you're ready, and I will minimize my browser until you are. No spoilers.
Okay, here we are. Adjust the vision for our viewers.
Do you need a nits?
Uh-huh.
Thought so. See if that works with Beyond. Let's see. Don't see his roll. Oh, great initiative. Ha!
And what is your passive perception?
For Cliff, 17.
17. Nice.
Yeah. I'm out of spells. Got nothing. No more spellage. I'm blessed, though, I believe.
Yes, you are.
As long as they still like me. Whatever god you believe in seems to like me.
4 more turns unblessed.
Excellent. Then your god will fail me.
Maybe it would be you failing the matcha.
Could be. I could be like not really doing the right thing. Clifford isn't too religious. Yeah, he has a -1 religion roll.
All right. So you would make it to about there. You kind of see you around the corner, and the air is pretty thick with smoke.
All right. Can I cover my mouth like with some kind of bandana or?
Sure. Yeah, you can do that with
My
an
shirt.
object interaction. Keep you from sort of
Yeah.
choking.
Yeah. Try to do that, and I'll hold my breath.
You see movement on the top of one of the buildings. A large hulking figure hunkered down, thinking itself hidden from you. As you close with the hobgoblins, both turn angry glares towards you. But you think you detect a note of concern on both the hobgoblin faces.
Well, I let him know about the whole dropping the staff and me not killing them thing. It's always an option, It doesn't have to end badly.
All right. Stepping over to Helena then. Back on the docks. X just takes off in an incredible turn of speed. The gnomes and the halfling sort of begin moving southwestward, directed by Millie, and you can hear Lokag stomping around in the hold of the ship. What does Helena do?
Helena's hurt pretty bad, even though she's acting like she's fine.
Yeah.
So, I think she's going to. Can I call like my remaining rats to me?
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna do that and maybe get to some land. Let's see. Oops.
People splashing and coughing up river water as they swim toward or hoist each other out of the water, or are hoisted out of the water. You hear nervous, sort of babble and worried conversation from them, and intermixed with sort of gasps of wonder at you all's abilities that you showed, and their having survived such a terrible experience, the attack of the hobgoblins and almost attacked by bugbears as well, boarding the ship, the exploding of the ship, several near drownings. But all of this sort of fades, as Helena steps away, getting once more on dry land.
She kind of looks at her verminkin with a bit of sorrow. There's quite a few less than initially, and kind of looks over the ones that are there. And if I don't know if I probably shouldn't give my good cheese. Do I have like just little crumbs of something just for some flavor?
Helena
feel like
always
I
has
would.
crumbs in her pockets.
Right, just to like help out them out.
Okay.
And I just want to generally like put out the aura of I'm wounded, but I'm not going to ask for help even though I need it.
So as you begin
I
to...
don't
Sorry.
Say I don't think I can roll for that.
Yeah, you can make a deception check.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see.
She actually wants the help, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Millie, you see right through it. You can tell that Helena's just playing it tough. But she's as covered in her own blood as you are. But Helena, as you begin, sort of reaching through your pockets and pulling out sort of various handfuls of crumbs of different foods and sprinkling them on the ground for the verminkin, you hear a splashing in the water and scrabbling of claws in the rock as verminkin start coming out of the ground near where the sort of wooden pylons are sunken in, holding up the dock.
No. So good to see. There's plenty of you around.
And your swarm is replenished somewhat, with 5 more verminkin. Not quite a full swarm, but about half, a little over half.
Oh, they've got more pep than I do. Cumulatively.
Yeah, they look like they're sort of charging in to just knock the others out of the way and sort of take the crumbs for themselves. But something about your presence, they sort of fall in and let the ones that have just been fighting eat more, and instead sort of take turns like, facing out in a circle, almost guarding the 2 wounded ratlings.
Good. We'll only have polite rats in my company.
Tarwin and Uton continue to jog away toward the southeasternmost building. Millie, an older, what was previously a well-dressed woman of noble carriage is being pulled out of the river water and sort of coughing up water. And immediately begins complaining about hobgoblins, about pirates, about swimming, about her dress being ruined. You think you recognize her from somewhere. You can make a history check, and you can make that with advantage. You've been lots of places you shouldn't. Insight would also work if that's better for you.
I think insight probably is better.
Okay.
Insight. Maybe. Only a 7.
It is a pampered noble who's, who lacks enough awareness of the situation to be complaining about the things that she's complaining about. You've saved probably not one of the better nobles of Arabelle. And judging by some of the others, it looks like sort of important servants, dressed in mostly, black wool, nondescript, but clearly fine by the cut of the fabric and such. She might be troubled later, but you can't put your finger on her name, on who she is. What is Millie doing?
So how many Kind of like, is there a bunch of groups, or was it just her and her servants coming out of the boat?
No, there's several others. Looks like her
Okay.
and 2 servants, another probably a well-to-do merchant. The others look like dock workers, laborers, do various jobs from sort of cleaning, sweeping up, or hauling cargo and things like that. There's also another cluster on the opposite docks, climbing out onto the dock that connects to the island, where you actually saw a few more hiding in that partially burned down shack on the island.
What Billy will do is try to find some of the dock workers and just try to get them. Be like, come on! Is there any way you know of to put out fires on these buildings?
Oh, yeah, not when they're that big. Aye, not enough of us for a proper bucket brigade. And the dock wizards, they didn't make it.
Any way we could protect the other buildings? Those hobgoblins put some sort of oil or tar up around them.
Yeah, we've got powdered clay. Might soak up some of the oil. Or whatever it is. It's here in the
Let's
dock
get
house.
to that and just keep away from those burning buildings.
Okay.
Let's try to organize kind of safety, save off the things we can here.
Okay, yeah, they go in, they roll out several large barrels of it. It's just sort of grayish white chalk powder, complete with like big chunks of chalk, pretty absorbent. That's the kind of thing that's used to soak up oil to keep the heavily flammable docks and ships from going ablaze, or to control fires. Exactly what it's for. The merchant and 4 other dock workers begin immediately sort of hefting or half rolling, half carrying these barrels out to the edge of the dock. Begin scooping out just by handful, or one of them finds a bucket, small hand shovel, and begin to just sort of throw it up onto the eaves of the house and sort of along the sides. Everywhere they see stains of the substance that was thrown, the flammable substance that was thrown on the buildings. They're moving pretty slow, though. They're exhausted from their fright and from, their short, quick swim.
And then if there's anyone else like coming up out of the water, she'll just help them. And she's down to 3 hit points with no healing, so
Yeah.
heavily wounded, probably heavily scarred.
So the noblewoman and her ladies in waiting in a train sort of make their way down the docks toward the 3 of you.
X was hunting.
Oh, toward the 2 of you. Yeah, X is currently not on screen anymore. Who is it that's in charge? Are you in charge?
I wouldn't say in charge. No.
Well, who is then?
Look around. Very few in charge. This flaming dock.
It's a dreadful shame it's come to this.
Whoever's boat you were on just sacrificed themselves to save you. Could show some decorum, at least. A loss of life.
She looks shocked. Her mouth hangs open for several seconds before it kind of, you can hear it, you can almost feel the effort of her closing her jaw. She nods and juts her chin out. One of her ladies in waiting leans forward and politely whispers, and the woman nods. My girls will help. What can they do?
Well, we need to get people Probably anyone else who's still in the water, out of the water, and attempt to dry people off, I suppose.
Oh, that's sensible.
How many blocks? How many blocks away are we from the square that we started in?
Several. At least, like 12, 15 blocks. Check the other map.
We have secured defensible perimeters several blocks away.
Well,
But we should probably head there as a group. Do you know who's crossed the docks, those islands, the other small boat thing?
more peasantry, some workers. I believe farmers who are bringing some of their goods to be sold elsewhere. South, I believe. As you look out over, there's also another almost, it's a boat. The decking is still being built. It has no mast. No actual decking has been placed in. And it looks like several more nobles on this ship and a couple more laborers, this boat. They have no poles or anything. They're sort of drifting in between the two rocks that jut out. Jut out of the river.
Look at this noble woman and her ladies in waiting. Perhaps there's some stuff in that dock house that we can use to dry people off with or shelter with.
One of them points sheepishly toward the blazing buildings. That might dry us off, milady. She's no lady, snaps the woman.
That is very hot and very volatile. One of our friends nearly died by it.
The woman just nods, accepting the facts of it. Although it could very nearly dry you off from there, standing on the docks where they're at.
Lily's gonna wander up towards where Lokag is on the ship. Lokag! Is there anything on there we could use to maybe get people across from the island or the other half-built ship out there?
So, what is the condition of this ship that Lokag's on?
So the top deck, the mast are destroyed. There's a huge hole in the mid decks. You can see some liquid at the bottom of the ships, but most ships take on a certain amount of water. If there's a leak, it's not large enough to be obvious, which means it'd be pretty slow. Doesn't look like it's immediately and quickly sinking.
That's good.
Yeah.
Lokag is going to, he's a big guy and he drinks all the time. Mm-hmm. So, he's not completely gone to the whole world. He's not shit-faced yet.
Yeah, he's not incapacitated.
He just drank a quarter of a barrel of whiskey. So enough to kill most people.
Right.
But he's going to come up, he's slurred a little bit. And he's just going to go, well, there's lots of booze down here. I have not checked anything else. There's been zero exploration once I found whiskey. Where is everybody else?
His voice is way too loud.
I believe... DM, do you want to switch back to the docks map?
Yeah. Let's see here.
I believe they went to chase down that staff. A few of the hobgoblins ran off with it.
Oh, man. I did not even know that staff was here. That's crazy. Well, I guess, we should probably take care of these people over here. Listen, Golden Girl, there is a lot of whiskey down here, and I need your help to get it up. There was also some kind of chest. I don't know. I didn't look in it. As far as getting people across, I mean, the ship's made out of wood. We could maybe use that. I don't know. You should look. I'm busy.
Very well. I'll take a look. No.
Well, what rigging
We'll head
isn't
across.
burned? There's a good amount of rope left, as well as the large anchor and some smaller anchors, as well as in below decks, mid decks. There are chain grappling hooks for boarding other ships, confirming that this is definitely a pirate vessel.
Cool. I do want to go back down to where that whiskey is, and I may have misheard last session. Was there a chest in this room with the whiskey?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go back in, taking the barrel that I punched out, still holding that. I've not let go of that this entire time. It's mine.
It's very fine.
Am I able to open the chest at all?
It appears to be locked.
Okay.
But you are pretty strong. You might be able to just break the chest.
I was gonna say I have a crowbar in my inventory for just such occasions.
Nice.
I will set down the whiskey for this. No need to spill, glorious liquor.
True enough.
I'll set down the barrel of whiskey, and I'm gonna try and pry this chest open with a crowbar.
Okay, go ahead and make that strength check with advantage.
Just athletics.
Athletics would be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same. Do a 19 is the
19.
best I got.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, you excuse me. You find a space where you can kind of work the edge of the crowbar in there. You pry at it a couple of times, and you break the wood around the lock and sort of free it, opening up the chest. Inside, there's like sort of a top like tray. It's very well padded, and strapped into it are several fine-looking bottles. One in particular has a almost glowing blue liquid in it, and you recognize this as a rare brandy, or brandy-like drink that comes from the Feywild. The bottle itself is worth about 500 gold. The booze, plus the booze in it, about 900 gold. It's exceedingly rare and hard to get, and it has very strange effects, depending on the person that drinks it. It can induce a healing sleep. It can induce certain kind of hallucinations that become real, but they're never harmful. They're always fun. Mostly what it does, though, is it brings up and helps someone sort of relive a memory, a favorite memory, positive memory. And it's said that when people drink it and tell stories, illusions of like sort of replaying events will appear in sort of cloudy mist above their heads. The other bottles look like fine and rare wine. Beneath this, there are bolts of something called shimmer silk, something else from the Feywild. It's used for everything from like very fine clothing to create glamored clothing that can sort of change shape and texture depending on what the wearer wants. It's also used to create cloaks and boots of elven kind. And underneath this, there's a small brass box. It's not locked. It seems padded a bit. A couple of objects clatter up against the sides. And as you open it, there is a gold and mithril compass. It has two like arrows. There's one that's There's one that's very common, like one arrow is lacquered red, the other side of it's lacquered black. but there's another arrow that has a single point. It's not a double-sided point like most compasses. You can make an Arcana check, see if you know what it is.
Awesome. I'm so excited about this. I am the party arcanist, so. All right, here we go.
Something you might have heard of.
It's a 16.
Nice, 16. Yeah, you've seen these before, actually. The trader that you traveled with to Arabelle from the mountains used one to find safe paths through the mountains. It's a compass of find the path. And it basically allows the wielder to use that spell, find the path, to find a safe or sometimes hidden path.
Awesome. Okay, great. I'm gonna take all those wine bottles and I'm gonna stick the compass in my satchel, along with the very rare brandy. Then I'm gonna close the chest lid. Is the chest bolted to the floor or anything?
It's sort of bracketed.
Okay.
So there's like clamps that you can undo pretty easily, just to keep it from sliding around.
Got it. I will. And I'll take the shimmer silk as well. Put that in my pack. And I'm gonna take the open barrel of whiskey and the other one, and I'm gonna head up to the deck and just ask Millie for directions, basically. Whilst and I'll get this in there for you, DM. I know how much you love the word. I'll lean against the gunwale, and and I'll start drinking out of the barrel again. But I'm gonna ask Millie for directions on what to be doing. So using the grappling hooks or some of the ropes to help the citizens, and all that.
Okay. So how far?
Perhaps.
Yeah, go ahead. Millie.
Perhaps we can hook the grappling ropes towards this bridge, dock-like thing down south, and get some people to help pull it, but also kind of swing around, maybe get parallel with these two dock pieces.
I love it.
Let me broadcast my thought there. I kind of want to get parallel right there, but kind of swinging down, up and down that way.
Cool. I'll definitely start preparing to do that, grabbing up some grappling hooks and stuff.
It is not that hard to do, to sort of wedge the ship, broken as is, between the docks well enough that it'll sort of butt up against.
And maybe just use another grappling hook to swing that boat kind of closer in. But, just get everybody back over to the main shore.
Come, good people. The goblins have fled in my might. Ha ha ha. Lokek's really getting into it now. He's about halfway through the barrel now. So now
Yeah, so it takes a little bit of time to reposition this pretty massive ship. The hobgoblins moved it. There were, over a couple of dozen of them. But at the moment, it's starting out, it is Millie and Lokak. Some of the folks on the dock, some of the dock workers, are able to grab onto the chains and sort of help hoist. But the other sort of noble folk, they move back onto the island and sort of, stand on their own. Those in the partially built ship, however, are cheering and hooting at you all. Saviors! Saviors of the docks! Sort of cheering and shouting at you, noble and dock worker alike, as you, save them from the hobgoblins, but also from the river slowly pulling them out into its current. To be lost, they don't have a paddle or mast or even a tiller on them.
Be fun to go out to sea on that.
Might be too much of an adventure, says one of the dock workers.
cool. I'll definitely start preparing to do that, grabbing up some grappling hooks and stuff.
Might be too much of an adventure, says one of the dock workers. Might be too much of an adventure, says one of the dock workers. plenty of adventure here, I think. So Millie and Loka, you can make perception checks while you're there.
9 for Lokak.
Okay.
Perception, you say.
Okay.
A whopping 7.
Fair enough. So Helena, you as you're slowly reconstituting your little swarm of verminkin, you spot Win and Tar and Uten pop up on roofs nearby, just sort of looking out, just on watch, like Millie suggested. What else might Helena be doing before we switch back over to the events to the north?
Helena may have stepped away momentarily.
Okay. In which case, we'll pop back to Clifford. Switch our view here to the other map. Alright, so let's see here. The hobgoblins themselves, they continue. They both provoke attacks of opportunity from Clifford as they sort of charge into the maze of buildings.
Which one has the staff?
The one in the front, the one in the
I'll
back has a sword and shield now because its crossbow was broken during the fighting.
All right, yeah, I'll up the guy who's trying to move away.
Okay.
Get him with the... I think I have advantage because unless he's got special senses.
He does not.
Ooh, 21?
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Advantage from what? Because
I assume it's dark.
it is not.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
just anything outside of about
just-
20 feet is difficult to see. Essentially,
Okay.
anything 20 feet away from you will get advantage on its stealth checks.
I see, but not close up.
Right.
Okay, cool. Can you tell which was the first roll?
I see a 21.
Oh, I guess I did a regular roll then. So yeah,
Yeah, 21 to
that
hit.
should hit.
That's definitely going to hit.
All right. 9 damage.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I have a way to beef that up. He will be blinded by the blinding blade effect that he has on this special item. So that would give him. I think he gets a save though on the blindness, right?
He does. He gets a con save.
Yeah. And he's also vexed. He's vexed by my rapier. Means I'll have advantage on him next round if I get around.
Nice. Let's see here. Actually, only one of them dashes, so they both move 30 feet. One of them with a sword attacks you.
Okay.
The other one gets up and around the corner. The other one stops and swings at you with its sword, but then sort of continues a little ways back, a little ways ahead. But still, you can still see them.
Gotcha. So the other guy runs, I op him, then he takes advantage of the situation and does a little dance.
Right.
Gotcha.
And he attacks for an 11 to hit. That's going to miss Clifford.
Not gonna die.
All right, give me just a moment.
Feel so alone on this initiative.
Well, you can hear X coming up behind.
Yeah. Yes. We're going this way.
From the northeast, a hobgoblin rounds the corner and flings a javelin at you.
Whoa.
Hidden, it's going to be with advantage. It's going to be a 23 to hit.
That hits. Ow. I do have a thing. I don't know if it matters. He does have the special senses thing, but that might not matter. I don't think it does.
All right. Let's see, this is going to do a bit of extra damage from the bugbear's sneak attack.
Ah. Nasty.
Pretty nasty. A total of 17 damage.
Holy crap.
You also hear the
That's a
snap
lot.
of 2 bows as 2 goblins
Damn.
appear on the roofs nearby. They'll be both attacking with advantage as well.
Now, aren't I 20 feet? Am I more than 20 feet away? Don't I have the cover from the smoke? If they're
You
more than
do,
20 feet away
so it would be with disadvantage.
for them?
Yeah. The other 2 get up a bit closer to you, but for the bugbear, it would just be a single roll, and I just rolled 1 roll for the bugbear for that reason.
Gotcha.
It
They'll
kind of
move up,
knows
so
where
they're
you
within
are, but you know.
Gotcha. And the others move into
That makes
within 20 feet or whatever.
Yeah, right at about 20 feet. The 2, you can kind
Gotcha.
of see smaller shapes on the rooftops of
All right.
a 16 and a nat 20 to hit.
Holy shit. The 16 will miss, but that can't beat an at 20. I do have I have 1 luck point. Can I use the luck on them? I don't know if I can.
No, I think that's just for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I had to call it before they attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can spend 1 luck point to impose disadvantage when they attack. But they already had disadvantage, did they? No, they didn't.
These did
Oh,
not.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, too late. Okay, I got a crit. I don't know if this is what's going to happen.
So 10 damage on that crit, and there's 1 more attack from the bugbear that you spotted on the roof.
Okay, I'm at 1 hit point.
It's going to be a. Let's see here.
Huh.
It's going to have. It's going to be a single roll. Let's see here.
A 4th attack. Okay.
A 4th attack. As
Holy
he
shit.
flings a javelin as well. No advantage.
Oh, Lord.
It's an 11 to hit.
No. Jesus Christ.
gonna miss.
I'm not looking good. I am covered in blood.
All right. Let me reflect that on. Huh. Okay. Let me fix something real quick. All right. So what does Clifford do?
I can't really see how far away they are to the west. I don't know if you can reveal the map some more.
I can a bit.
Or
Yes.
to the,
Just a moment.
I'm a little bit nervous. I do have a potion I could take.
One of them charged north at the edge.
The one with the the one
The
with
one
the
with the staff, and it's not far. It's just around the corner, and it's pretty hurt. But you
Can
can't be
I
sure
go-
how many more goblinoids are in this area.
How hard would it be to go over the wall, like up the wall and over this building?
The building's only about 10 feet high.
He's got the climbing potion going on, so I think he's going to try. If he can't, then he'll just try to go around this guy. But it seems like the shortcut is to go up the. So he's going to kind of jump up. I think he can sort of jump up like 5 feet. So he's just got 5 feet of moving up, and that should be enough to hopefully connect him to the other guy. So I guess I'll make an acrobatics roll, or
Well, you got a climbing speed. I thought you were. If you're gonna,
yeah, I do. Yeah, climbing speed. Yeah, so if I
but
can
it's
just
10
climb
feet
up,
up, so it'll still be 5, 10. It'll still be 20 feet of your movement to get to here, because you have to climb up and still travel.
So what I'm thinking is, if I can jump 5 feet, then I can, in one quick move, I can get up 5, like diagonally. I can go diagonally upward.
So jumping up will still take. It's still going to take your movement. If you were jumping down, falling doesn't take as much.
So
of your movement.
5 feet, and I'm 5 feet up, and then another 5 feet. So that's 10, and then 15 to get to the edge. Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's still going to be 20. Whether you're jumping or climbing that 5 feet, you still have to travel that 5 feet. Jumping doesn't let you skip space.
Well, no, I'm going diagonal space, right? So it's diagonal movement is the same. So if I'm going diagonally, fourth dimensionally, right? Does that make sense? Like
Either way, you're going 5 to here,
5 feet.
10
and-
up, and another 5 to here, or there. It's still going to be 20 feet.
Yeah, but the 10 up, there's only 5 up because I jumped up
No.
5 feet.
Jumping does not allow you to skip space unless you're falling. Falling doesn't take movement, but jumping up or climbing up is going to be the same movement.
Okay, it's just
it's gonna take
diagonal.
20.
Okay, so imagine I'm going. I'm going to try one more time, and then I'm
No, let's just go with this. It's going to take
okay.
20 feet of movement to get up on the
All right.
building. Yeah, there's no
All
getting
right,
around.
so
it.
that's okay. I'll figure it out later. So that gives me another 40. So that's to.
And let
looks
me
like it gets me
reveal
to-
a bit more. So
Yeah, it
you
looks like it'll get me.
see the folks on the map.
I have 10 more. So where do I see the guy that I was chasing?
Yes, you do.
All right. Can I drop on him? I'll drop on him and I'll have him have to break my fall. I think there's rules for falling on people. Oh, that'll kill me. Jesus.
It will, yeah. It's going to take some damage to do that.
Yeah, I think I can climb down 5 feet and then drop in front of him. Do I have cover from all those other guys to the right? They don't see me if I go down?
If you drop down, yeah, you will be. If you climb down, then you'll have cover from there, yeah.
All right, so I climb down 5 feet and I drop the last 5 and land in front of this guy. I think that's all my movement. I have no attacks because that was my extra action. That's it. I'm just ready to terrorize him. That's all I got. That should be fine.
And you have blocked their way for certain.
Yeah. And I'm hoping someone will come. I'm at 1 hit point.
Bonus strike potion?
Oh, I do have a bonus action, and I do have a potion, I think. No, I don't have a potion. I have, I have a piece of cheese. I'll have a piece of cheese, and that'll give me 1 hit point, so I have 2 hit points now.
Bring you up to 2.
Yeah.
You just doubled your hit points.
Yeah.
With a bonus action, that's sick.
It actually takes a full action to eat the berry, though.
I allowed a potion at my table,
Okay.
just a bonus action. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Not that it probably won't matter that much. That's it for me.
I'm not sure why we have 2 Cliffords on here. Okay. So coming back around to the top of the order would be X.
I don't know why there's 2.
X is probably up in the smoke by now, or not?
Yeah, let's see. No, you are 10 feet off the map, so it'll take you 10 feet of movement to get to... Let me pull you out on the map.
Okay.
So getting to there would take another 10 feet of movement. So you got 110 feet. You can see multiple figures. You can see, and again, there's a thick haze of smoke, but you can see the hulking outline of a bugbear on the roof, a bugbear on the alley ahead of you, 2 goblins on the roof. And let's see here.
Okay, it'll take me a total of 80 feet of movement to get from where I'm at to go around this hobgoblin without provoking an attack of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And end up
Just mess him up. Why don't you just mess him up?
here.
Can you attack
What's
the
that?
goblin? Could you attack the goblin? I mean, you don't want to run around and just fuck him up. I'm cool with that, but...
If we take the staff and leave, that's the tactic. I mean, I don't want to fight 5 goblins.
Well, as you're running, before we decide, as you are running, in the shadows back here, let's see here. All right, I'm going to use my GM inspiration and roll that again. See if it manages to hit the very wily X. One of them from the corner here. Oh, let's see here. Let me just reveal. A hulking bugbear steps out of the shadows and grabs X with a 22. You can make rules 2024 rules. It's a DC I think 15 to grapple you. So at this square here, you are grappled by this bugbear.
Not automatically, no.
You gotta roll a save.
Yeah, I get a dexterity or a strength save against the grapple attempt.
Guessing dex.
I believe the new rules read differently. It's a straight DC for them. It's not opposed like it is in 2014 rules. I'm trying to pull that up real quick.
And the DC is something that X rolls to beat the DC?
No, it's just something that as I recall, it's something that the Hobgoblin or the Bugbear has to roll.
Oh, the attacker.
I'm trying to pull up the 2024 rules.
And he had a ready to action. He was like ready to grab you. Probably would have grabbed Clifford if he went that way.
Definitely would have tried.
Grapple. The target must
before,
succeed. The target must succeed on a strength or dexterity saving throw which it chooses, or it has the grappled condition. The DC for the saving throw and any attempt is equal to 8 plus strength plus proficiency.
Okay, so it just had it backwards, I guess.
So it's just not opposed anymore. It's just a set number.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be an athletics check. It used to be skill based.
Yeah. It was it was contested.
Save attempt.
So you just get a saving throw for it.
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
was not great.
Let's see here.
I rolled poorly. I'm going to use my GM inspiration to roll that again.
Oh.
Okay, but this is a special ability called a grab. If it's successful, the target, if they're medium or smaller, has the grappled condition, and it's a DC 12 to escape.
Oh, it's not your typical grab.
It's not your typical grapple.
It's a special.
It's a grab.
Special ability. It's like he attacks, and if it's successful, then
Correct.
he's grabbed. Then it's different. Yeah.
Let's see if I can put it in
Either
the
way,
chat
he's
for you.
grabbed. Either way, he's all grabbed. We know that.
It's not showing the details.
Oh, if you click it, you can see.
There you go. You should be able to see the details now. Where it's, the target's meter is smaller,
scary.
it has the grappled condition. And it does do damage with that grab. Although not very much. It's going to be 5 damage to X.
Whew.
And I think you'll still have either your action or your bonus action for X, depending on which one you use for your first dash.
Yeah, I'll have my action then, and I'll try to get out of the grab. I'll try to get out of the grab.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty low DC. You can, yeah. Nice. By 1, you managed to slip out of the massive goblinoid's grasp.
Wow.
Okay, then I guess I'm done.
You can't finish movement with your.
Oh, it took his action.
If I take my action, I've only got 70 total feet. So that's as far as I can get with 70 total feet. I can't just
Gotcha.
invent more action economy, unfortunately.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, good luck. Hopefully, we'll get help.
Alright, the goblin's turn is right in between X and Clifford. Clifford, the hobgoblin that has the staff in one hand, it draws its sword with the other. It sort of looks nervously back over its shoulder and attempts to attack Clifford with its longsword. The 12 is going to miss.
Whew. Scary.
A bugbear dashes up through the smoke, closing with X, but it uses its action to dash. And Clifford, you could see goblins on the rooftop, or one on the rooftop. One of them fires out at X, and one of them fires at Clifford. They did not hide, although... Let's see, these are just cutthroats. Okay. A short bow attack at Clifford for a 13, and a short bow attack at X for a 17.
If the smoke is light obscurement, that misses.
It is only outside of 20 feet, and they moved up close enough.
Well, it's heavy outside of 20 feet, yeah? Is it heavy at 20? Hello?
Just a moment. Yeah, it is. It's light outside of 20. It is not unobscured within 20 feet.
All right.
So that is going to be 8 to X. The Bugbear Warrior attempts to grab X again. My goodness, with a nat 20 to hit.
Jesus.
Oh, sorry, that was the wrong one. Crit damage. Wait a minute, that's not right.
Oh, it's crit. It's crit damage. You rolled a crit.
It is, yeah. So that's going to be 18 damage to X.
Dead.
Jesus.
X drops unconscious. And what does Clifford do? A goblin above, a hobgoblin in front of you.
See if I can kill this guy and grab the staff. He's still holding the staff, right?
Yes, yes he is.
All right, I'm gonna try to kill him. That's my only hope. I'm gonna use my luck ahead of time, so I have advantage.
Okay.
Make sure that I hit the little bastard. Oh, X, I'm sorry. Oof. 14 enough?
Let's see.
Bless.
Oh, bless. Yes. Thank you. 50.
A 15 is not going to hit, unfortunately.
I will do a reroll then. I will use my inspiration for
Okay.
the round. So I'll just do one more straight attack, and come on, please. So 19.
That's going to hit.
All right, come on. 13 damage. Nice.
You can feel free to describe or pass as you dispatch the goblin, the hobgoblin.
I'd say it's real quick. He stabs that thing. Object interaction to grab the staff. He can't help X right now. He can't. He knows that there's a bunch of dudes. He can hear them all. He's got to go. So he's going to go west. I assume he can go west and try to get the hell out of here.
Yes, you can.
So 30 feet would get him to the end of the hall. I don't know if I can see more
Let me reveal
from
the
there.
door.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he can get then around the corner. Make sure I got that right.
So that would be a dead end if you're trying to just full escape. You might go
Then yeah, I would want
north.
to go north. Yeah, it's going to be this way. That's as far as I can get. That's it. Hope I don't run into another swarm of freaking goblins. That's it for me. That's all I got. I'm trying to think of a bonus action, but I've eaten my cheese. I'll yell before I leave. I'll say X is down as loud as I can.
Okay.
Make sure people know. Before I run.
So as Clifford did, yeah, you charge off around the corner, breaking line of sight, shouting, hoping your companions hear, and a new chase begins with you running with the staff and the goblinoids attempting to
Oh Jesus!
chase you down. Oh, just a moment.
I'm getting overexcited. If we could cut back to the other group.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm terrified. My heart is racing.
Right. right? Back at the docks, Helena and Millie Lokak, you hear the sharp, reedy voice that sounds like Clifford in some distress, winded. You can see Wynn and Tar sort of standing up on their tiptoes, looking, and Wynn shouts that there's trouble to the north. Trouble to the north! What does Helena do?
Everything's so far away. And I just feel like if I go running up there, I'm gonna die.
Don't.
Probably.
Don't
Probably.
do it. Don't 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 do it.
That's X's last word, so don't save me.
I don't know. I usually know.
Well, just because you might not want to go doesn't mean that nobody should. You do all have some NPCs that could maybe get in a position to help peel them off Clifford at the very least. Maybe someone can sneak up and see if they can find out what's going on.
Give X some
Yeah, but
cheese.
where are they?
They're further down to the. They've moved down to the south. They're on top of this building. Down
To the north.
Yeah, they're down at the bottom left at the moment.
I don't doubt much they can hear me. Tell them what to do.
You all could hear Clifford. I mean, a shout, especially from above the rooftops, could go a pretty long way.
Over an inferno of flames?
Okay, perhaps not. Maybe hand gestures. Or Helena might just opt to let the situation play itself out and continue gathering her rats about her.
I'm not usually so stumped. I mean, she would eat a cheese. I've got 3. It's better than nothing.
True enough.
Okay.
Have the rats deliver cheese.
There we
not-
go.
That's not a terrible idea.
Could save X, yeah.
They can dash, right? Like, what is it?
They can.
60 or
total of 60 feet.
Cheese
Okay.
delivery service. Cheese resurrection crew.
And they understand you. Like, you can kind of speak their language to them.
I love that.
Oh, she's been talking to him this whole time. So yeah, I'm gonna have them. Well, get a move on. In my stead, my weary stead.
All right. So take a couple of rounds for them to get up there. Enough for X, if you'd whisper me a couple of death saving throws as Clifford charges off with the staff.
Is there actually a button for that, or just roll a d20, or what?
Let's see. I'm not sure that there is a...
If you drop your
button for
character
that.
sheet to 0 hit points, it gives you the options to do death saves.
Oh,
I
interesting.
did that. It doesn't show it.
Yeah, I see that too, and I also don't see the death saves. I guess just a
In
d20,
the
if you can whisper that roll to me.
upper right, if you did that.
Ignore the one that I sent you accidentally like 2 minutes ago, okay?
Okay. Fair enough.
Yes. Ignore the 1.
Never saw it. Never saw that one.
Ooh. Good roll.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
That's supposed to be a secret, though.
I know nothing.
Is that
Nobody
visible,
looked.
or?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah,
no
it
worries,
was.
though.
Okay.
I clicked it's on Whisper.
They're still,
We'll all
they're still
pretend we
working the
didn't
bugs
see
out of Jump Gate. No worries.
We can role play.
So, Clifford, as you charge through the network of narrow alleys, goblin boots
I
are
wanna
stomping
try
along the
something.
roofs. The Verminkin gets another 60 feet. So they are... They'll just be coming up on the other map.
Okay, so if you just roll the dice, it's not a whisper, but if you actually roll a saving throw, it is a whisper.
Okay.
If you put on
So-
GM roll, what does that do? Like if you go into the actual dice roller on the left hand side, and then click GM roll at the top. I'm just gonna roll a d4 and see what happens. I saw nothing. Nope, there it goes. 2 GM, it says.
Yeah, I rolled it. It worked for me.
But how did you do that?
There.
If you hit the dice
You go-
roller, there's a little toggle. It says GM roll. You can turn that toggle on.
Yeah, up at the top above your name, there's a public and whisper toggle. It actually says it's toggled to whisper right now.
But that doesn't work if you're just typing in the box in the chat, like /R
Oh, right.
1d20. Right?
But if you
so
use
if you go
the
into
die
the
roller-
actual dice roller, yeah.
Let's not take up time in the
Yeah,
game.
that's
Just
fine. Yeah.
put it in Discord or something so I can learn from it.
Perfect. All right, give me just a moment.
Loaded it now.
Okay. Now, as I'll go ahead and bring. Let's see here. Let's bring everyone onto this map for the moment, so everyone should be able to see what's going on. And Helena, as your rats come to here, they've moved throughout the next, the first 2 rounds. They'll get to there. They can then dash up.
We're all still on the docks.
Still on the docks.
Are the goblins all chasing Cliff?
All but one.
Yeah, we.
Okay, there we go.
This game again reminds me of Assassin's Creed because you get into fights with a bunch of dudes and then you're like about to die and you finally realize like, oh Jesus, I gotta run. I gotta run and hide in a bush and regenerate before I can fight them.
Where's your nearest haystack?
Yeah, exactly. Where's my haystack? Are there any haystacks around? They're probably on fire at this point.
So the Verminkin can get to there. They spot that there's one hobgoblin still in the area, as the rest of them, they can see goblins treading across the rooftops, hopping across the narrow alleys. I see the backs of another bugbear as it charges around the corner after Clifford. And as it comes to there, it makes its decision on if it wants to attempt stealth and try to sneak up. It seems that the bugbear is going through X's pockets at the moment. X still unconscious. Whisper me another death saving throw for X. As we come into the 3rd round. And Clifford, this will be the last round that you will be sort of dashing without Constitution saving throws.
All right. Let me know where I end up.
Okay. You're definitely off the map by now. You are.
All right, cool.
You've easily gotten out of this sort of narrow warrens and sort of just stepping out across a larger street as quickly as you can, not knowing exactly where the goblins might be hiding ahead of you. So make a perception check as you're running
All
to
right.
guide your movements.
All right. My passive 17, but my perception is, let's see. Trying to roll okay. Oh, yeah. Doing pretty good with a 23.
Yeah, okay, excellent. You can
I'm
hear the
hoping to
shouting.
find my way around, like back to my friends, if I can circle around and, That's my goal, is to kind of head back south and get away.
Well, so to the north, you kind of hear some shouting and cheering goblins, likely in revelry, drinking wine and stuff that they liberated from another building. But to the south, the sort of quickest way back to the docks, you see a cluster, 7 bugbears. Their backs to you, sort of moving down the street. Obviously, have just left the docks area and are looking for easier fare. If you charge toward them, they're going to hear you. At the moment, the best way you can go is back in the direction of the market square.
Sounds fine to me. I'll get the hell to the market if I can, absolutely.
Okay. So as the vermin can sort of scramble around the corner, Helena, you can make decisions for them. They have not dashed, they've just moved up to this point. So they could attempt to hang back and hide and wait for the bugbear to move off. Or dash up and try to close with him, use their bonus action to try to feed him a cheese right under the bugbear's nose.
Ooh.
Oh no, they're sneaky. They're gonna hide. They're cautious. Clever little things.
Okay, go ahead and roll a d20. They got a plus 6 to their stealth. 16 beats the bugbear's passive perception.
Yes.
So it goes through X's pockets, looking for valuables. X is do you have any coin on you? What are the most valuable things a bugbear might spot?
X has a few coins on him. I show myself having like 13 gold or something like that in total.
Okay. The vermin can watch as the bugbear sort of tries to find every bit of coin that it can. If he has a nice dagger or nice weapons, obviously his main weapon are his tattoos. What else of obvious value might X have on him?
The only other, literally the only other thing I have on value is things that I'm wearing.
Mm-hmm.
Or I also have that rod, that cleric rod, amulet of the devout or whatever, rod of the devout.
Okay. It goes to touch it and
I
pulls
would
its fingers
try
back from it. Does not seem to like the touch of whatever amulet that X has. Soon the bugbear seems to grow bored, kind of nudges the body with a toe, and steps up to the corner as if looking after its, sort of moving pretty slowly. It does not seem in a hurry to rush after Clifford. Unfortunately, the bugbear looks as if it's going to stay still. Doesn't look like it's going to leave the area. So, Clifford, we'll need to make a double check on this real quick. A Constitution saving throw as you start to get winded, charging as quickly as you can, eyes darting here and there, avoiding the bugbears and goblin cutthroats that are following you. Some on foot along the road, and some trying to move from alleyway to alleyway.
19.
All right. Yeah, your breath is starting to burn in your throat. Perhaps the combination of the heavy smoke, even with the bandana, and just your burning lungs from you pumping in and out as your legs and limbs begin to burn as well. That is
Is there a place to hide? Is there a place to hide?
Well,
at some point, or is it all smoke?
Not immediately. You're crossing a sort of large street. You've left the bulk of the smoke behind. You can still smell it, but it's no longer reducing visibility as you've left the sort of warrens.
If he can try to hug to the shadows and get in the alleys, that's what he'll try to do.
Okay. Yeah. Once you cross the street and make it down the alley, there's another couple of other alleys, and there's sort of stairs that go down into buildings and such too. You might be able to hide in. If you go into one of the buildings, though, you could just as easily be stuck or run into another group of goblins.
Yeah.
You don't know where they're nesting in this area, but the area is obviously, pretty full with them.
Yeah, I mean, he's just on complete survival mode here, trying to get out of there. Get back to the center of town.
All right, so that'll be another death saving throw for X, and then a decision for the Verminkin. The bugbear currently has its back, or actually, yeah, it settles up against the wall, slides down into a sitting position, its head nods forward, and even in the smoke and filth, it begins to snore. So what do the Verminkin do?
Well, they're definitely going to continue their mission and deliver the little cheese, drop it into X's mouth as best as they can.
Okay, that's 16 stealth check. Go ahead and
Little rat paws.
they begin to move forward. One of them with the cheese in its teeth, the other sort of scrambling around it, maybe trying to protect it, guard it, or run interference should anything get close enough. As you get closer, the slight sound of the Verminkin's claws scraping on stone. The bugbear stirs and grumbles, but resituates itself to get more comfortable. It does not open its eyes as the Verminkin climb up onto X. X, you awaken to a haze of pain and smoke. There are several mangy, scarred rats perched on your chest. You can hear them you can smell them more than hear them. You're essentially surrounded by overlarge rats. Not giant rats, but just big city rats. You crack an eye open. A bugbear seems to be sleeping nearby. What does X do?
Never been so happy to see a bunch of rats in my life. X will try to be super stealthy. I'm going to try to hide and sneak here if I can.
Okay. Let's see that stealth check. $18. Nice. As you slowly draw yourself into a crouch, the bugbear grumbles and moves again and resumes snoring.
I'm going to stealthily creep inch by inch and head back to the docks.
Okay.
Looking for hidden bugbears around every corner now.
Make a perception check then as you move southward.
Also 18.
You do hear the snores of other bugbears in nearby buildings, but you creep past them, and they are none the wiser. You and the Verminkin, roughly together, stumble your way back down the hill toward the docks.
Last thing I'll do is I'll say a little prayer to Matcha to hide and guide my friend Clifford.
I think this is a good spot to pause and take a short break. How does that sound, everybody? Stretch our legs, grab a little water.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Cool.
Like it. I like it.
All right.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
Well, I'm going to hang tight here while you all take a break.
Listen, I'm looking forward to a very Indiana Jones-esque thing of like Clifford running down the hill, like, Blaine! Like, all these goblins running after him. Definitely ready for it.
Nice. We'll have to see what happens when we come back.
Yep. All right, I'll be ready.
All right. All right. Let's see here. I think we can transition to somewhat calmer music for the moment. Perhaps something more suspenseful. So how we doing out there, Mythlanders? How we enjoying the scenario? Peasant, break a leg. Those rats came in pretty clutch, though. I have to say that was pretty good thinking for you guys. But I guess you will all have to continue wondering what death is like at my tables for a few more sessions, thanks to those rats and the quick thinking players, using every conceivable resource you guys have to get through it. We're going to go ahead and check some of these rewards and make sure we got everything up and it is all current. Ooh. Looks like a healing potion will be coming up soon. To add that one back. Well, how you feeling, DL?
It's hard to keep your morale up when you're dead, but
I suppose so, yeah.
That bugbear being in the corner was a really unpleasant surprise.
Yeah, those hobgoblins try to draw you into some of their other friends. But it might be good for y'all's overall goal in the situation that they did get X, because that meant that Clifford got to slip away. Much fewer attacks on him.
I honestly thought it was going to go the other way around. With Cliff having one hit point, I thought X was going to be the one to, grab the staff and run. But it went the other way around, so... in the end, I mean, one of us has the staff at the moment, so...
And he's still alive. He's still moving. Yeah.
I won't say anything went according to plan, but...
Well, would it really be an adventure if it did go according to plan?
Hey, if X died, it would have just been, Matcha deciding it's his time, right? So, gotta accept what the lady gives me, I suppose.
Would have been an interesting scene, that's for sure. Not that this isn't interesting, and fun to run it. But yeah, that also would have been an interesting, interesting bit of lore, I think, for the party. Should someone in the party die, get some more insight into the metaphysics of this particular world. Yeah, Jar Jar. From a distance, might be better. The matcha's pretty scary. And Darth Tradi, I think Helena knew. Helena knew that the rats would save the day. It's their city, after all, in her opinion. Welcome back, Big Bri.
Good to be back.
Yes, yes. We're going to check back with you all here in a minute on how you all are responding and what you all are doing at the docks. I had... Yeah, okay. I mentioned last session, I think, that the ship's captain had a gleaming shirt of fine mail and a rather fine sword that is still down in the hold with her remains. Alright, I'll be back. I'm going to take a couple of minutes. I'll be right back. Welcome back, Pompon. Welcome back, Nick.
Welcome back, you.
Why, thank you. Thank you. I have just recently returned. I was gone so long, after all. I think I literally stepped away for like 30 seconds.
Can Cliff disguise to get past bugbears or goblins?
That's a good thing. That's a good thought. He probably could. If he hasn't left.
I got the 1 a day plus iron. So I won't be able to do that. But I'm going the other direction, so I'm hoping I can find my way.
Ooh, I love apple cider.
Me too.
What ends that ability, Cliff?
It's a concentration spell, and then he used a different concentration spell. He used his Hunter's Mark, which canceled it. And he also wanted to look really cool changing as he was killing the guy. Which was important to him.
Yeah. That was awesome. Looks like we're all back. Here, deal, but I don't see him on cam yet.
I'm trying to eat real quick, so you can go ahead and get started.
No problem. All right, everybody ready to jump back into it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's go.
So likely Helena or Millie and Lokag are still in the midst of sort of hoisting the ship into position and getting people onto land. So somewhat overseeing and shouting directions over the roaring fire toward the dock workers and some of the ladies in waiting as they help. They found canvases and different, not any fine cloth or anything, but something to blanket people with as they're some of them shivering from the cold of the river. It's still early spring after all. The river's very cold. And you have yourselves a handful, almost 36 townsfolk, and almost a quarter of them minor functionaries and members, minor members of the court. dignitaries, couriers, servants, ladies in waiting. And the clueless and disapproving noble, as sort of trying to take control and give orders, although she doesn't really know what to do. She's telling people to find food and to find weapons and arm themselves. But for Lokag and Millie's perspective, none of these people, maybe some of the dock workers could handle a club or a small sword. But some of these nobles might know how to use dueling swords, but they certainly don't. They only knew the rules of polite combat and would probably be pretty useless in a fight with goblins, or worse than useless. Pride and a trumped-up sense of their own capabilities could get them and other people in trouble. So, does anyone interfere with Matron Evra? She tries to take control, giving orders.
I think Millie will just shout out, like, they're already being told to gather stuff. Like, we have a safe location in town. Gather what you can to bring it there.
The matron, kind of comes up, shouting while you're still trying to, working your ass off to hoist this big ship into a better position. And just where is this location? My manor is southeast of here, and its walls are 15 feet high. Is your location safer than that? She sniffs.
Strange that your men didn't come to save you.
They died saving me, as they're paid to do.
Our spot is well reinforced.
She continues to argue. You can try to intimidate her down, or make a persuasion check, or just shout over her and to the people and try to override her commands. You think they're only listening to her by nature of her voice and her accent. She's very well spoken, and she sounds like she's one of the elite of the city.
I'll use persuasion just...
Okay. Does Millie or Lokag attempt to help Millie?
Yeah, Lokag wants to look at this lady and go, he's gonna stand up and still way louder than he should be. Like, I mean, even in this open, vast space, just like, hey, lady, Golden Girl is talking, and like points with his full hand, like a knife hand at Golden Girl. He points at her, and he points at Millie. And he just goes, Golden Girl talking. You need to quiet down.
All right, make an intimidation check. That'll be, by way of help.
15. It came out a little slurred.
I'll not be spoken to this way. Fine, you ragamuffins can take control and lead them all to death. She
You may certainly walk to your location alone.
She huffs, but doesn't really have much to say in response to that. She moves herself over to the corner of the dock house and kind of puts her back to it, just out of sight where she can't see you, but clearly close enough to fall into your area of protection should anything else happen. You get the sense that she's not going to go anywhere, but she's probably going to speak up and try to get in your way again. Before you even have the ship hoisted into place, those on the shore, you've already sort of pulled the boat that not quite finished ship over and kind of connected it. People from there have moved onto the ship, and anything that you all point out in the holds, they start bringing up and setting on the remains of the deck. And as soon as the ship is hoisted into place, they start bringing this stuff to the western side of the docks. And there are, in the hold, you all find a lot of the goods look like they were basically ruined. But miraculously, there are 6 small kegs of gunpowder still remaining that did not blow up. They were sort of far forward in the hold. These look like they were being shipped somewhere. And several massive baskets and small barrels of foodstuffs. Pretty common salted pork, cheese, pickled vegetables, and stuff like that. Certainly, several days worth of food for the people that you now have. And, with Lokag's loud and intimidating presence and Millie's voice of reason, you managed to get the people pretty well organized. X, you kind of come back pretty early on in this endeavor, sort of limping your way back. And Helena, you're likely the first one to catch sight of X, as the others are working pretty heavily. You might be busy sort of worrying about your rats. What is Helena doing during this time?
Well, I've been struggling this whole time with Helena. I mean, she's relieved to see X coming around. I suppose I would like... Is there anything within view that Helena could help with? She would know that she could help with.
Well, I mean, you're pretty decent at dealing with exposure. You might help the people who are sort of wet and in shock, not from wounds, but just from having been this close to a combat, nearly killed by hobgoblins, nearly blown up by the trickery of the ship's captain. Tar and Wynn are still kind of in position, mostly just on lookout. You could direct them. There's also 3 warehouse buildings that are sort of locked up and that likely have valuables in them.
Now that's something. Because, the empathy and everything, that's... Helena... They're fine. They're fine. They'll be fine. But goods, on the other hand, we could all use a little extra help in that department at any time. So I like that. I'd like to head that way to the closest one.
Okay, that would be the one here, just off the docks. Right where the wall had been erected, and now where some of the dock workers are shown on the map.
We bring that map back up on the screen, please?
Absolutely.
Can I move that far?
Oh, definitely. For you all here at the docks, you all are more in like exploration. Everything up north is all happening pretty quickly.
I'm in the other map now.
That's so strange.
Same.
Let me try it again. That should
Something
do
about
it.
changing on stream.
Okay. You're gonna sneak in here.
There we go.
All right. There are sort of double doors on the front of it. There's a heavy padlock locking the door.
Let's sleight of hand this. Let's give it a good old pick and
Okay.
thieves' tool.
All right. Excellent. Pulling out twisted bits of wire, old utensils that have been sort of reshaped and filed down. Your kind of handmade thieves' tools. You pretty easily pick what is a very nice steel lock. It's probably worth about 10 gold on its own.
And she looks at that and is like, oh, that's nice. Puts it on her.
All right, yeah, you can add a padlock to your character sheet. It might be useful at some point. So immediately you find, well, there's just loads of crates inside. Many of them are labeled in Common, some in Elven, Dwarvish, Gnomish, even Orcish and Halfling. Some even in Sylvan, and you suspect these actually probably come from the Feywild. Anything from the Feywild is going to be some of your most expensive stuff. In this warehouse, as you sort of step in and begin looking around, there's a strong smell of leather and oils, like essential oils or other sort of fine and rare oils that are used from everything from potions, salves, and like sort of medicine, to even the creation of potions.
Well, looks like we have a lot to go through here. Gosh, she might be kind of interested in like the leathers if they're raw materials. I mean, she does typically work with rat pelts, but who can turn down free material? I mean, it's pretty heavy stuff, though. Is there anything that's lightweight that she could easily snag?
Well, as sort of, there's some racks of tools, crowbars among them. You could pretty easily pry open some of these crates and begin looking through them. So moving back to some of the more valuable ones, and following that scent of leather, of oiled leather, you open up, you find several rolls of a dark green, almost shimmering leather. You can make a nature check or an arcana check to see if you know what it is. Some of the hides are really, really thick, maybe even a quarter inch, and some are very thin. Looks like, could be made for gloves or upholstery or something like that. Pretty thin leathers.
15.
Okay. So you're pretty sure this is hippogriff leather. Something that's definitely not common in this world at all, or in these lands, and that from what it comes from the Feywild. This crate itself is probably worth 1,000 gold. But more importantly, this leather is pretty easily enchanted. Usually takes drastically less resources and time, you think. People who make like fine leather enchanted goods, it's highly sought after. You've kind of always wanted making some leather armor out of it. In particular, it's said to be excellent for sort of magical imbuements of stealth, as well as being able to resist resistance to like poison and acid damage. It's naturally like somewhat acid resistance, but it would only resist like a hit point of acid. If it was enchanted, however, and like I said, it would kind of soak these enchantments up. It could pretty easily be enchanted to resist poison and acid, doing only half the damage on the dice.
She definitely wants that. She's ecstatic. Know what we're gonna do next.
All right. I think now we'll turn back to Clifford. Clifford, we're going to be at Theater of the Mind as you were just sort of moving through the city, trying to get into a position where you can hide. There are a couple of burned buildings. It looks like you're pretty sure that there's no goblinoids in there. You might be able to hide in them and sort of change direction.
Yeah, catch my breath, get a feel. Kind of use my survival skills to find my way back, I guess. And yeah, So I'll stealth to sort of, kind of recover so I don't have to keep making con saves, and then, shoot out again and keep working my way through until I can get out of here.
Okay. Go ahead and make that stealth check then.
Stealth. Right. Ooh. Ha! Crit stealth.
Nice, 26.
And he can even use the rooftops as well if there's clear, like if he needs to climb, he'll kind of work through the rooftops if there's no one, up on the rooftops watching.
Yeah.
He'll try to take advantage of the.
Well, as you climb into the first building and sort of lose yourself in the charred furniture, several bugbears dart past. A couple of them stop, looking into both the ruined buildings on both sides of the street. They peer in for several seconds. They move past. You hear goblin footsteps then on the rooftop as some of them pass by. You can tell they're still in the area. But most of them continue down the street, crossing another larger street, and are lost in the distance. I think there's 3 still around you.
Can I try to wait it out and hopefully they'll move on?
That's up to you. Yeah, you could attempt to wait it
Yeah,
out,
I
or
think-
jump out one of the other windows and try and go a different direction.
Yeah, if there's a way to get out, if they're getting close, then it's probably better for me to move. But if they're still outside, if they're coming inside, then I'm gonna try to get to a window and maybe.
They're not coming inside, and on the far side, none of it. There's not any windows that face that road, so you can't see them. You can hear one on the rooftop. One of them has
All right, I'm gonna
just
play it
sort
cool.
of turned away, and
Yeah.
you can kind of still see them through the windows, but they're sort of not looking at you. They're looking up the street.
I'm gonna play it cool and just hold out, and if there's anything I can use for cover while I'm hiding here, under a door or some junk, he'll just stay motionless and hope they don't find him for now.
Okay. So yeah, you find yourself underneath sort of scampering underneath a burned, or partially collapsed table. Sort of looking at the windows, watching this one bugbear pace. He paces around the building. You see him soon in the set of windows on the right of you. The goblin is still on the rooftop. And soon you see a few other. These are all hobgoblins. One of the ones that was chasing you, and 2 that are fresh. So
Do I hear what they're saying?
they're just like sort of coordinating. Did you check there? Anything in there? I'm going to look this way. He's here somewhere. It seems that perhaps some that ran off have come back in this direction.
I have a question. Under the ground, am I like on the ground? Is there dirt?
You're in a house, so that you're like those charred floorboards, and just underneath that there's probably a small crawl space and rock, sort of the bedrock.
Because I have mold earth, and I'm wondering, and it's a somatic spell. It doesn't make a sound.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if I can use that, if there's any kind of opening in the ground where I could sort of do a dig of it.
You have to pry up some of the burned floorboards to make enough space for you physically to fit between them. But yeah, the bedrock is right underneath that mold earth.
Yeah, if I can see the earth underneath it, then maybe I could mold it. I just don't know if the logistics of this. It might be better to stay in place versus making any noise. So I don't want. Yeah, I'm just going to do that suspenseful thing where I'm like hoping they don't find me.
Okay.
Hopefully by.
Soon you hear one of the bugbear, or one of the hobgoblins, shouting to a goblin and a bugbear to begin going into the burned buildings nearby. Check the buildings nearby! You, that one! You, to there! The goblin boots move across the rooftop. They climb down, and they climb in the exact window you climbed in, and begin to search about in this burned room. They make their way along the wall first, making sort of an L, searching 2 walls, and they come further into the space and begin looking around behind furniture and such like that. It seems that they're moving in your direction, but at the moment they're not. There's no line of sight. They can't see you yet, where you're hidden.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe an insight check to see if I'm in deep shit or if I should hold true.
No need
Not
for an
sure.
insight check. If you stay where you're at, the goblin's going to find you.
All right. Is there another way out?
There is, but if they'll definitely break. You'll be in line of sight if you move toward one of the windows.
All right. So I just have to make a break for it. Yeah, I don't have a choice, right? They're
You
going
can
to
make
find me.
you can make a no. You can make an insight check.
All right.
There might be some other options.
Oh, 11.
Okay.
Um,
Well, you can go to one of the. You can try to time it and go to a place they've already searched.
that would be great. That's probably a good move. Try something like that. Is that another stealth check or?
No, they will. Let's see here. No, it won't be. But they are going to make a perception check while they search for you.
All right. Hopefully that stealth check saves me.
I'm sure it's going to.
They have a -1. That's great.
So yeah, the goblin moves along. He's sort of looking underneath a large couple of benches that have been kind of thrown together by the force of the fire itself. And as soon as it sort of squats down, you slip out from underneath the table, move between what you think is was like a large sort of lounging chair and some sort of large case, maybe dishware or something was in it. This was clearly somebody's house. You slip up behind this, so you're sort of between the window that you came in and this sort of burned bookcase or hutch. And soon they are climbing out the other window.
Whew.
Continue on, shouts the hobgoblin. Next street over, and points north, east. No, sorry, west, the direction that you were headed, back toward the square, where it was sort of the direction you were forced to run.
All right.
Now, these are just the ones that you've heard, but these goblinoids are pretty crafty. There could still be some sort of hiding on the rooftops nearby that you didn't hear. So yeah, what does Clifford? What does he do?
Well, they've already searched this spot, so I think I should lay low here for a little while. I'm not gonna leave this room for a little while. He's gonna play it cool. And if they didn't find him now, they're probably not going to come back and look for him. So I'm saying he's going to probably give it 5 or 10 minutes if you want to go back to other people. But
Okay.
he'll wait there, play it cool.
Okay.
He'll rub some like ashes on his face and his arms, so he looks all Rambo.
Nice.
He'll just hide there and try to become part of the wood and the junk, and stay as still as possible.
Nice. Blending in. So as you sort of, limping your way downhill, you could see Millie and Lokag with these great chains attached to the docks, each one sort of pulling and repositioning the heavily damaged pirate's ship and trying to reconnect all of the people, calling out orders, and most of the townsfolk are at least steady enough to be able to listen and follow orders, but they're shuffling, they're moving slow, their eyes are wide and fearful, staring over at the fires or just looking at every shadow, afraid that a goblin is going to jump out of it. So you and this swarm of verminkin moving down the rocky slope toward the docks. What does X do when he comes onto the scene?
Does it look like there's enough fighting people of any kind here to mount a sort of distraction to try to help Clifford do what he needs to do? Like,
No,
create
none of these people really
illusion?
look like fighters. You've got you've got like 8 dock workers who could probably handle a club and a dagger pretty well, but they would know how to. They've probably been through a few scrapes, but they've probably never killed anybody. And certainly some of the nobles know how to duel, but again, you've dealt with nobles quite a bit. A lot of times their skills fall apart when they meet a real street tough or bravo.
Well, I think then X, all he can do is kind of silently whisper a prayer for Clifford, and he'll start tending to the wounded and seeing if anybody, anybody who's laying on the ground is savable.
Well, you spot, Helena sort of sees you and turns and sort of walks around one of the buildings. As you kind of come clear, you watch her. She's picking a lock. She's, upright. She's, looking for all the world as if she's not covered in her blood and goblin blood. She's pretty hurt. Millie is sweating, her arms almost trembling as she kind of pulls on this chain. She's helping heave the ship into place. But Millie and Helena both are pretty hurt. And Lokag's in no better shape. Most of the townsfolk, however, just seem sort of shocked, moving in a daze. More, addled by their experience, but none of them seem exactly wounded. They all got out of the ship and underwater before the explosion happened.
I'll look around for Palin real quick and see if I see any sign, any hint of where he might have gone, or just check to see if I think he's still anywhere that is relevant.
Okay, well, you can go ahead and make an investigation check or a perception check, depending on if you're just going to sort of walk around between the buildings and look, or you're going to sort of go into the buildings and stuff like that.
I'm going to look, but not too hard,
Okay.
just like scanning the horizon to see if there's any obvious place that he would have went or hide, just to make sure that there's like not somewhere that he could jump out and ambush me while I've got 1 hit point.
Okay. So trying to keep everybody in view and moving a bit to the eastern side of the map, maybe back toward that slope where you can see above the buildings, that slope you all climbed down early in the combat. You can kind of see above, except for the blazing buildings, of course. You hear his voice, and looking west, moving between some of the broken foundations, you see a cluster of bugbears sort of hustling away, and in the middle of them, sort of surrounded by them, giving orders in their own speech, is the halfling Palin. He does look back, and sort of looking back over the area, and unless you're hiding, he spots you. Were you hiding, you think? Or just looking around?
Well, I'm looking around to make sure that he can't attack me. So I'm not looking aggressive, but I also, didn't declare that I was hiding either, so.
He gives a very rude gesture to X, followed by a sort of drawing his finger across his throat.
X will literally just laugh. He'll be like, shrug. Death holds absolutely no fear for X, so threatening him with death is like not very useful.
He just kind of, juts his, almost like he's straightening something. Like, he didn't like that you didn't react to that, but he just sort of plays it off like he's safe, he's in charge, and he moves off. Definitely get the feeling you'll see him again. And hopefully you see him before he sees you. Because based on what little you saw of him in combat, he's a dead shot. Alright, So Helena, as you kind of moving through, grabbing up some rolls of this leather. What else might Helena be doing or searching for? Is there anything in particular she's looking for, valuable wise, or just looking for whatever's there?
Well, always jewelry and always treats for. If I doubt there's a hat that's going to replace the fabulous one that she already has.
How could it?
Of course, potions, anything to help heal wounds, especially in the immediate.
So moving through the area, there is a sort of building inside the building that is made of stone. It has a steel door and a fine lock in it. This is likely where the most valuable stuff is kept.
Ooh, most valuable. Well, she can't resist that.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna pick it.
All right, let's see that. Pull out again your makeshift thieves' tools from various places. Some out of your hair, some out of your waistband, out of your shoe. Trying this very fine lock. 22. This is probably the hardest lock. It has had 7 tumblers in it. Each time it'll sort of reset anytime you don't get the tumbler just in place, it'll pop all the other ones back out. But you methodically work through popping each tumbler into place and inserting the proper tools so you can turn it, wrenching the lock open. You are greeted with the smell of, it's that hard, flinty smell of metals. There are 3 racks. You see there's small ingots of gold and mithril. There's probably about 12 of these ingots of gold. It's easily 700 gold worth of gold itself. As far as the mithril, you find 5 small ingots, enough to make a couple of weapons or 1 really large one.
So, how many of each again?
700 gold in gold, and then 5 ingots of mithril.
Okay.
Most of it, however, looks like ingots of fine steel. Exceedingly fine. Dwarven steel. Some of the purest that there is. The blacksmith's son that you all rescued is going to be quite happy when he gets his hands on some of this. Much better than any of the steel or iron that the goblins' weapons are made out of. Even though the hobgoblins have gear that's sufficient, it doesn't look good, and you obviously your weapons are able to cut through it pretty easily once it got down to it. Some fine stuff can be made out of this, though it is heavy. There's a lot of people to help carry all of this stuff back for you.
Well, is there anyone nearby?
The dock workers are outside. They've kind of just finished dusting this building with clay powder, trying to soak up the flammable liquid that was poured all over it.
She kind of waves them over. Let me carry some of this, and don't you think about taking it for yourselves. I counted all of it. There are very specific goals for each of these much needed supplies. All authorized, I took care of it.
The self-proclaimed leader of the group. Oi. You don't want us stealing what you're already stealing?
Who said anything about stealing anything? I explicitly said not to do any of that. I said I had all of this taken care of. It's authorized.
By who?
According to the burning building over there.
So, you're just a looter then?
No. I'm a salvager, a rescuer of precious and priceless goods. Look,
This here in the vault
we
is
are
spoken for.
fighting a war here, and we need these things. So just come on, do what I said, load it up.
He kind of, looks at you and looks at some of the others. One of them looking, at the nearby burning buildings, the dead goblins on the floor. She is right. Things ain't to rights. Whoever owned this, they can donate it.
It's really a fee, really, for all the work we've done here. And frankly,
Sort of uncommon. Doesn't seem right. But
yeah.
you did save us all, so
Yes, your moral conflictions are exhausting. Help me out now.
the big words that you use seem to just shut them right up, and they move into taking pallets of the ore, taking it outside, and stacking it, wherever you have them place it. But it is sort of a running argument, I mean, they don't stop working, but the one who's speaking for the rest of the group, it's just the whole time. Well, you just mind this all gets and put out for use by those who's doing the fighting, you and others, and that it's not going into your pockets.
Oh, for the love of Herma.
Meanwhile, Millie and Lokag, you finally have the ship in position, and now things are really happening. All of the sort of getting all of the people through back onto the proper side of the docks, including the barrels of gunpowder and food. X has done a circuit around, does a quick circuit around the area. You all kind of spot him in between your heaving and hoeing and getting the ship into position. Once it's sort of locked down and tied off, people are making their way onto the shore. And you have a lot of people to worry over as you make your way, once you make your way back toward. We bring them down to the south. They would probably not be comfortable around the fire. So coming down to the very south, further away from the burning buildings. Sorry about that, Lokag. Just grabbed all the tokens.
That's quite all right.
There's also some livestock. There are 2 adult cows and a calf that are on the island as well.
Yeah, I think unless somebody tries to stop us, it'd be good to take those. Okay, carry the cows across. They fear holes in grates.
Yeah, they're not, they're going to be pretty difficult to move across. A successful animal handling or, an athletics check to hoist them across. How do you all decide to manage them?
Hold on. I'm just gonna ritual cast Speak with Animals for the cattle.
Nice.
And I'm gonna just tell them hey, can you swim across this? Or communicate to them how to get up and over the ship.
Cold water. Don't like it, says one cow.
I just go, fine, and then I come up with a ramp situation with some of the extra wood laying around. I'm like, just go up the ramp, don't fall off. I'm just directing these cows, exact. But it sounds to everyone else, I'm just going moo, 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 just moving at these cows, and they're doing what I'm pointing at, and it's amazing. Amazing Lokag.
Didn't know he could do that.
It's about 10 minutes of this, because they'll kind of get up to the ramp and stop and kind of move back at you and complain that it's dangerous and that it's going to cave in and that they smell gunpowder and that there's a lot of blood and just everything seems to kind of spook them.
I'm gonna moo intimidatingly at them to get moving.
Make an intimidation check. And then we need to hear what that sounds like.
To keep them
Okay, it's a
moving.
22. It's gonna sound like this. Move it. Like that.
They do. They do. The what's clearly the mother kind of nudges the calf across, and soon you've got some livestock. A couple of the townsfolk have 2 chickens in cages as well. So you've got 2 hens, 2 cows, and a calf, as well as all of these townsfolk. Yeah.
I hope everyone enjoyed that moo. I think I woke my wife up with that one. So
Well, I'm sorry for that, but I did. I did totally enjoy the
she,
movie.
she knows it's for the it's for the entertainment of everyone. So it's worth it. It'll be okay.
Now, Millie, as you know, once everything's locked in place, you're kind of getting the people across, answering some questions. But is there anything else that Millie's doing during this time?
I think once people are across, like do another lap of the ship, grab anything that's still salvageable, and then I know we didn't really loot any of the hobgoblins that we killed to the northwest either.
No, there's not. But on the
Probably just go around to
captain,
do that.
on the captain is gleaming mithril chainmail shirt, a fine rapier. The hilt is worked in. It's filigreed. So it's steel, but there's sort of lines carved into it. Scroll work, almost like waves of mithril, and an amulet of a closed fist hanging that all seem rather fine and are not melted or damaged at all by the explosion.
A mithril chain shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's always questioned that one because I don't quite understand why they would do a mithril chain shirt.
Well, in this case, it's not just the material that matters. From your experience with things, only an item that was enchanted would be able to survive such an intense explosion. So you suspect that the sword, the amulet, and the chain shirt are all magical. So go ahead and note those down. You and some of the dock workers pour over the goblin corpses that you can get to. And aside from, all the hobgoblins have, it's not the finest steel, but they're chainmail, full chainmail, long swords, shields. A lot of them have heavy crossbows as well, and quivers. Most of them have at least a few bolts left in their quiver. But they spent a lot of their ammunition in the fight. It's a lot of material to carry, but you do have a lot of people. They definitely aren't as strong or capable as you all. But they can likely help you get some of this stuff back. So what do you think Millie would prioritize? Oh, you find a few vials of poison and 4 potions of healing as well in all the wreckage, the bodies.
4 potions of healing, you said?
4 potions of healing, 3 vials of poison. I'll put what they do in chat. In the Roll20 chat, that is.
Yeah, I think from a standpoint of what to grab from the kind of areas and all the stuff we've collected, food stuffs that would rot, and anything we can use for protection and or reinforcement of that square.
Okay. So yeah, again, with the help of some of the townsfolk who are willing and able to go over that do the grisly work of looting bodies. These people are not soldiers, but the dock workers have, they've obviously seen some stuff, and they're not too, they don't like the work. It's a little ghoulish even to them, but they recognize the importance of having, arms and armor for the defense of the people of the square. And the dock workers all can at least wear a chainmail shirt, and can pretty easily be taught how to handle a crossbow. and a shield, of course. So you've got 8 dock workers that have chain shirts, shields, and crossbows to help you all. But everybody's pretty tired and worn out. X, as you make your final circuit, sort of peeking into the buildings, listening hard here and there. The only sounds you hear are from the building that Helena is currently having pallets of ore and some sort of fine green leather brought out of the building and laid out along the shore. So what else might X be doing during this time?
I think it'd just be helping, reinforcing what the others are doing. It looks like Lokag and Millie have the ship situation under control. It looks like we've got the warehouses looted, so... is there anything else to be done helping people, or should we just get ready to lead back? Okay, so we do have people in chainmail now.
Yeah,
I'll ask the question again. Is that scary enough to help Cliff or not?
You're not sure, and you don't know where Clifford's at exactly. The last thing you saw was him sort of bolting around the corner as you got waylaid.
But if we could just like go to the edge,
I mean,
and, like,
a
make
chain
some
shirt
noise
is.
and
Are they in a chain shirt or a chain mail? Because that's
chain
a drastically
shirt.
different.
Yeah, just chain
AC.
shirt.
Yeah,
they're not really, they're barely able to sort of wear that without falling over. If you put them in full chainmail, they're definitely not proficient in it.
Okay.
They're not really going to be
That's
able to
like
run
a
or climb or anything like that.
I just wish there was something I could do to help, but no, I think X will just help with the endeavors, and I'm not very strong. I really can't carry anything heavy, so
Fair, yeah.
I'll just tend to what wounds I can and provide medical help to people where they need it, because probably a lot of people with some little cuts and bruises, and so I'll just doctor people while everybody else is doing their thing.
Okay. So once, all the work is done, Clifford's still not returned. You still haven't seen any sight of him. Palin and his group of bugbears were going southwest, not going in the direction of Clifford. If he's even still in that same location. All you can hope is that he's hidden somewhere, or that he's making his way back here, or back to the square, and that he has the staff. But you all you're not even sure of that. You just know that the staff wasn't, you don't even, you just slipped away, so you didn't even check the hobgoblin bodies. You don't know what the status of any of that is. So y'all might be, perhaps starting to worry once you've got everybody across, you've got all the goods sort of laid out, the chainmail, crossbows, you have them sort of strapped onto the shields, and sort of, using rope, perhaps, have some sort of way you have it sort of lashed onto people's backs and have them ready to carry. But after this, the townsfolk seem to be pretty close to exhausted. They're at full hit points, they're at full health, but they're not as hardy and capable as you all. And you all know that you'll be, moving through the city. The city is infested with goblins. They've every other street they seem to have taken over a house or a burned out building.
How close to daytime are we?
Well, you all came out. You all went out pretty early before dawn, right? Slipped out.
Yeah.
The
morning.
The horizon is
Morning. Yeah.
is light. Like morning is happening. By the time you all are done with this, you all can see across the area and see the bodies laid out, and just how wrecked this area has been.
There's not a lot we can do without resting. I'd say we get people in one of these now empty. I assume the 2 buildings that have been burning are just gone by now.
Yeah, they burned out pretty quick. I'll just leave the flames up to indicate which buildings are useless.
Should we shelter people in a building and take a rest? I think after we rest a little, maybe we can go look for Cliff. Look to X, seeing like You know where he is?
What does X say?
Well, all I know is his last known location because all of his movement after that was, me face down on the ground. So, yeah, I could point to the corner where he was.
Well, maybe he'll make it back if we take a short rest here and then start heading back into the square.
Is this place safe for a short rest?
I don't know if anywhere in town's safe for a short rest.
Tar and Wind haven't spotted any more danger. You did a circuit of the area and haven't seen any more goblins in the area. So as far as you can tell, it's safe. It certainly wouldn't be wise to rest without some sort of watch or something like that. But you have some people that could share that, can at least stay awake and look at things, even if they can't fight all that well.
You're talking about a short.
Yeah, I was
short
going to say
rest.
we're not talking about a long rest here.
Oh, right, okay. Then
Talking about a short rest, at least at the most.
you could probably get away with a short rest pretty easily.
Could Cliff also get away with the short rest if he waits an hour?
Yeah, if you're gonna just sort of hang out.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. He's definitely. If he can, he will. Yeah.
Yeah, that goblin sort of pretty soon scampers out, and you wait, and it's a good thing that you wait because about 8 minutes after the goblin leaves the building and the rest of them move back off to the east, 2 more goblins drop off the roof across the alley. They sort of look around, peer into the building, but you sort of drop down underneath the windowsill, and soon they slip off as well. So yeah, you all can go ahead and click that short rest button and use some of your hit die.
While we're resting, I'll just look around to see if there's any kind of a wheeled conveyance, like a cart, anything that we could get up and running to haul stuff back to town.
You're certain that they've kept them. There's a small shed to the south, very southwest of the map. And that's a place where, having been to the docks many times, that's where a lot of like hand carts and even like where they flatbed wagons that they'll sort of rent out or use along the docks. That's where they're kept. And it is locked. It hasn't been opened up since the fighting happened. So someone will have to pick that.
Maybe Helene and I could work on that and set that up while we're resting.
Loka got a rage back.
Nice.
I like that. Short rest, get a rage back.
Yeah, that's
Not all of
nice.
them, just one of them. Yeah.
Same with channel divinities. Get one back.
I get nothing. I get nothing for a short rest.
Some hit points.
I was only gonna use 1 or 2 hit die, but I rolled 2 12s, and I was like, "Is this broken?" You know how you do that on roll 20, and you're like, "I think this is broken," so you test it one more time.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I used all of mine.
All right, so as you slip down, who is going to pick the locks on that shed? It's not nearly as nice as the other locks that Helena picked.
Helena likes doing it.
All right, so it's pretty easy to talk Helena into it. What does X say to her when he tries to enlist her help?
Well, I will, kind of point out about that kind of particular lock, and I'll, whisper some words under my breath to give her guidance.
Oh yeah.
Nice. All right, let's see that thief's tool check for Helena.
Plus a D4.
Yes, ma'am.
You should have advantage, right, for me helping?
Yeah, if you help him, then roll with advantage too.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the D4.
Oh no, that's just yeah. So 16.
15.
So with that plus 1, 16, you pretty easily pick the lock. It's not a very fine lock. They're valuable to the people that work on the docks, but they're not worth a lot of coin. There's one flatbed wagon and several hand carts, like sort of wheelbarrows, but they have 2 wheels. They kind of have hooks where they can strap over the shoulder, and someone can they can wheel along behind somebody as they walk. There's definitely enough to bring, you could fill the wagon with the barrels and stuff like that, and pile the chainmail and such on there, and the leather goods and nettles and stuff like that. However you all wanted to arrange it, but there's certainly enough. There's 4 hand carts inside and a large wagon.
No moral qualms with you about any of this, is it?
Well, it seems if you're going to take all this stuff, then might as well not be bogged down so the goblins can kill us all.
Yeah. I'm just trying to protect lives. Save them, yeah?
Make a deception check. Or I guess you are. Make a persuasion check, because he kind of still eyes you a little bit. He's probably seen you around before, but you don't remember him. 21. Nice. Perhaps I misjudged you. You seem to have the right ideas.
They usually do.
Yeah, well, can't judge an ale by its head, I always say.
X is going to spend like 2 minutes telling Helena how amazing she is. She can hide, sneak, scout, pick locks, and now apparently command the town folks with her presence. Unbelievable.
She is feeling pretty good. It works on Helena too well.
In that rest, you could do some other light work. So let's see here. Clifford, resting alone in the timbers of this burned out building. Is there anything else that you do during the time, or you just sort of hunker down to wait?
Yeah, I mean, I just try to be really focus, meditate, keep my ears out, wait for my moment, I think, and then try to work my way out of there and get back toward the town again. At some point, I have to move, so once I'm rested, he'll wait for a moment to try to get out.
Okay, so you're roughly halfway between the docks and the town square. Okay. Your moment comes as dawn begins to light the streets nearby. And this is usually when the goblins sort of move in into whatever hovel or house they've stolen and drink and eat whatever they've stolen, usually probably fighting amongst themselves. These goblins seem pretty chaotic and pretty violent compared to some that you've met in your life. They're always pretty chaotic, and that's something that you might like about them. But this group is, they're bloodier, and there's something wrong with them. Obviously, they've been taken in by some powerful agents, whoever these masters are. But their blood has been changed. You're certain of that as well. So, which way do you head as you?
I want to get back to the town square. Yeah, he's focused on getting back to the town square. I think that's his safest bet. He's hoping the rest of them will meet him there.
Okay. So go ahead and make a perception check and a stealth check.
All right.
So as you creep out over the burned windowsill, eyes peeled, head on a swivel, looking up, looking down, looking into every nook and cranny and shadow, pausing at every sound.
And stealth is 21.
Awesome.
His passive is 17 perception, if that matters.
Okay. Yeah, it does. You're not in combat, so when you roll in these situations, the way I rule it is your roll can't be, you take whichever's higher,
Right.
your passive perception. If you're in combat, it's just whatever you roll.
Right. That makes sense.
But
Because combat is not passive.
no, it is not. But you start making your way toward, again, like I said, stopping at every noise. Occasionally you'll hear from a building an eruption of screeching laughter or a thudding as goblins fight over some bauble or bit of fine food. You'll
When
occasionally
he has
hear...
to, he.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No. When he has to, he can create like a hole in the ground and like cover himself up, and he can move 5 feet of earth. So there are moments where if he sees a bunch of people coming, he can just like skid, like do like a baseball slide into the ground and kind of cover himself for a moment. So he'll use that opportunity if he's like out in the open.
Okay, excellent. So you begin to make your way toward the square. Now, back at the docks, Tar and Wynn and Uten, all pretty fresh. So they sort of take positions around the area, just forming an extra watch while you guys rest. But what else might you all do during the rest? Is there anything else you all look to, examine, plan for, anything like that? How about you, Helena? Anything else you might do during the rest to prepare? Or just anything that you're curious about that while you're here? Oh, you're muted, by the way.
She would definitely go through the warehouse with like a fine tooth comb, see if there's anything extra special she can find in there. I think she'd probably check in with Bubby. We are not sending Bubby out on the front lines. Bubby is a scout that we will slowly make stronger until it is the right time.
I love it. I love it.
And I think that's more or less what she would do.
Okay. Give us an investigation check for any more searching you do. And sort of while you're doing this, giving little bits of food to your ratlings and to Bubby. Bubby scampers off and finds other rats that live beneath the warehouse, underneath the floorboards, and in the docks area. Several sort of wet rats that have climbed out of the blasted ship and made their way to shore. He and you have sort of collected them. So now your swarm is at full strength.
Excellent.
Check that investigation. 18 investigation check. Fantastic. So looking through, you have the clever idea to start looking at the smaller crates stacked around the sort of stone inner building. Looking through these, there's fine clothing in several of them. Looks like whole outfits. Some sort of slash and puff silk, velvet sort of shapeless hats with feathers, leather doublets and breeches. Again, sort of fine, supple leather. Some made in Arabelle meant to be shipped elsewhere, and some things meant to be being shipped here from places outlying. Most notable among them, there's a small crate that sort of clinks when you jostle it, figuring it's either expensive booze or potions. You crack it open.
Ooh.
And you do find in sort of silk and padding lined compartments potion bottles. There are 6 of them. The rest is all sort of just cloth wadded in to sort of protect them, keep them from jostling too much. None of them looked like healing potions. Some of them have like sort of gray, murky, swirling liquid in them. Flecks of like shimmering dust. You think it's 6 potions of invisibility. You've seen these before for sale, particularly at the apothecary's shop.
Those are fun to find.
Enough to get all of you and one other person invisible at some point, should you need it, or for one person who's not so stealthy to be able to follow the others, depending on how you want to use them. So yeah, 6 potions of invisibility. Let's see here. What about Millie? What else might she be doing during the rest?
Yeah, for Millie, I think, having gone down quite a few times and only having 2 HP after doing all that physical labor is probably just resting, but kind of looking over mainly the stuff of that captain, just trying to see if there's any kind of identifying marks or what the deal is with it.
So there are. The chainmail and the rapier have the same maker's mark stamped on the blade, the base of the blade, and there's one ring that's sort of flattened at the hem that have the same maker's mark. It's a single glyph in Sylvan, and so you suspect these are also come from the Feywild. It looks like this pirate was either wealthy or traveled pretty far. There's legends that say there's some areas of the sea that are impossible to pass through storms, and some sailors say that if one can pass through them, they can sail to the Feywild. So this ship's captain, she was certainly something. Kind of might wonder after what stories she would have had to tell you. But her blade and her mail sort of tell them all. You can make a religion or arcana check over the glyphs that you find on the amulet.
Religion or arcana?
Mm-hmm.
Let's try religion. Why not?
Okay. If X, you could help with this religion. No, unnecessary. So the amulet it's an amulet of command. It allows one to use the spell command once per day. It also can amplify the person's voice and gives a boost to like persuasion checks, perhaps intimidation. I think twice a day it would allow someone to take advantage on a persuasion or intimidation check. It's not uncommon. I mean, yeah, well, it is, but like sort of nobles among, notable people at court who often speak at court might use these. And X, you definitely recognize it, as you've seen these before. As you so in part you are sort of looking at them and examining them physically, but you're also sort of opening that intuition where Bridget might speak to you. And you hear her say in your mind, "This is a blade to inspire others to greatness and to noble action." The armor has many stories, but its enchantment is quite simple. You take that to mean it's +1 chain shirt. It could likely be paired with like the sort of sleeves and leggings of lesser chainmail, and it would confer that bonus, turning that into +1 chainmail. So depending on how the party wants to use it.
I don't think any of us can wear chainmail. So
Cliff could wear the chain shirt for sure.
Well, this is lighter,
yeah.
and this would count as light armor.
Yeah. Oh, light, not medium. Yeah.
So that would opens it up a bit on
Anyone
who could wear it. Yeah.
Yeah, anyone can wear it.
it'll take me from the 17 to 18, but
Yeah.
we'll throw that out.
And with this comes the sense that the sword could be used to inspire others 3 times a day. It works similar to bardic inspiration.
Oh, cool.
Assuming a D6.
D6, indeed.
It's a +1 sword.
It's +1 rapier.
Nice.
Now, what about X? What might X be doing during the rest? Aside from stemming his
no.
bleeding.
No other things. I mean, I helped get the carts out and get the stuff packed up, and that's it.
All right. So you all rest for an hour, and there's still no sign of Clifford. But you also hear no throng of cheering and hooting goblins howling over a fresh kill. So you all get the sense that Clifford's out there alive somewhere. Whether he's heading back here, hiding out, or if he's heading to the square, you all don't know. And by the end of the rest, you all determine, well, what do you all determine? What do you all think about the situation? Are you going to wait for him? Are you going to hope he survives and make your way to the square? Or are you, after your short rest, going to go out and try to find him? What does Helena think? Oh, you're muted again. That's what I'm here for. We're all here to catch each other.
Dang it. I think that she would, now that we're, healed up, she's ready to follow and find.
To go after
Track.
Clifford?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So what do you say to the party?
Well, we got our rest, we got our loot. Come on, let's.
All right. What about Lokak? What does he think? And how does he respond?
Listen, we're gonna need to go find Mustache Man. He's out there, probably scared and crying and alone and crying. I don't know why I said that twice, but he's definitely scared. I'm going to go find him, but, we should probably move these people back to the square. Except for that nasty lady. She can go home.
I can hear you just fine, she says. From
It was
not
meant
too
to be heard. He looks at the cow and just goes, I know, right? As a moo comes back to him.
You're nothing but bloody-minded killers and looters, each one of you. I'll have the guards on you as soon as we get back to wherever you're taking everyone.
Okay, good luck with that. And then I silently think about, well, we did kill someone right before we left, so they might be looking for us anyways. But he's not going to mention that to her.
What does Millie think about what's next?
I think we need to get these people to the square, and then if Cliff is not there, we should go out and search for him. I agree. Okay, he's that, or we could send Win and Tar in a kind of off-kilter path from what we would take, and see if they can at least see if he's nearby.
What, you got a job for us?
Sneakiest of us.
Well, I think Tar and I, we like a little bit of sneaking about. Wouldn't mind it at all. Get us away from this bitch, anyway.
Looks like the sun. Looks like the sun is up, so you should not have many things to worry about.
Just the challenge of finding places to hide. She just grins over at Tar and he nods. What about X? Does he have any counter thoughts or nuanced thoughts about that plan?
Well, I think if Clifford got away, he got away. So X's thought would be get back to the square, and if we still don't have any sight of Clifford, make a rescue party of ourselves plus some other maybe willing people, and if Tar and Win want to scout, that's great. That's fine by me. But I think as far as like trying to go find Cliff, X would be more inclined to get to the square, and then, maybe Baba Bruin or some others will come with us, and we could scout him up.
Okay. So
I think X is figuring at this point either A, Cliff will make his way back, or B, we're looking for a corpse anyway. So I think that's influencing his decision.
Gotcha. So how does it seems like everybody's concerned with the townsfolk and getting them to the square, and then searching out for Cliff next. Perhaps sending Tar and Win off to parallel you while you all corral this group of townsfolk. What does Helena say to that?
I don't know.
I thought that was it, which I thought was perfect. Just doesn't want to deal with the townsfolk at all.
No, she doesn't. She's tired of their moral high ground. Don't steal things. Oh.
Like they've never been in an apocalypse before.
Right?
Almost as if.
Almost as if.
Well, not everyone thrives in such maddened, daunting situations. You all are certainly a special breed, and you're that's becoming more and more obvious to you as you kind of go through town. And
I think they're missing the big picture that we're trying to bring them to a place of order. They're like, "What are you doing? Stop solving chaos."
Do you even apocalypse, bro?
They do not. Well, I think this is a good spot to pause for the session. We'll come into it next session. Clifford making his way, you all corralling the townsfolk and making your way all back to the square, and sending Tar and Win off to try to intercept or find some sign of Clifford, and hopefully return with good news. Heck yeah.
Very exciting.
This is a fun session. This is a good... hopefully you all felt like there were some good rewards there for all that you dealt with in the fight for the docks. But I look forward to seeing what you all do with the food, the gunpowder, these items, the weapons, these new townsfolk, this noble, and yeah. And then of course...
They're on something important like counting beanstalks.
See to find, just something important seeming for the lady Evra, or matron Evra, to do. But I suppose we'll find out what that's going to be in future sessions of the Goblin Stone. But let's check in. How was y'all's session, everybody? Let's do just kind of a quick check in. X, how about you? Any thoughts for you, DL?
We'll all miss Cliff.
Yeah, no, it was nice. It was intense, man. The whole combat thing from beginning to end, it felt like it was pretty dangerous. And I gotta admit, I thought that we'd be able to chase down that staff pretty easily. I think I was surprised at the amount of resistance was still left. So that maybe was a bad idea to go off on that mission, but I clearly underestimated the amount that they wanted to keep the staff. But
and how many of them there are everywhere.
Yeah, me too. I totally underestimated that. I thought it was like 3 goblins. We can do this,
Yeah, I mean, I literally figured like all of the goblins and hobgoblins had come down to the docks to fight this fight. There was a couple that like ran away in the middle of the fight. Maybe those stragglers were still out there. So I don't know. I mean, X just would not have wanted them to get away with the staff. So I feel like that was the choice for my character. But man, it felt brutal. So, but saved by some rats. I think that will probably haunt X for a long time.
That's a good segue. How about you, Pon? How was your session? Any thoughts on your end?
Oh my god, we survived. Somehow.
You did it.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm delighted, ever delighted by the increased versatility of the rats and what they're capable of doing. And I would just have to say, I really enjoyed playing Helena, being irritated with the moral high townsfolk. Yeah, that was just that was really fun.
Yeah, that was fun. I like that. Heck yeah. Clifford, how about you? Out there on his own again?
Yeah, it was kind of weird, kind of exciting too, being like separated from the party a little bit, and being literally surrounded. I was terrified. I was so like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? I have 2 hit points, and there was just like, and then X went down, and I was really feeling it. I was like, yeah. So you got me.
It got pretty close. There was some bum rolls as well as some good ones that changed that situation.
The stealth and the con rolls, and like I was definitely doing pretty well with the rolls, but it could have gone bad. So I'm just glad he's alive for now.
Yeah, heck yeah.
As far as you know,
yeah,
I don't know.
They have no idea.
Schrodinger's cliff.
Schrodinger's bounty hunter.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Big Bri,
exciting.
Heck yeah. Big Bri, how about you?
I had a great time. I enjoyed speaking with that cow. I enjoyed drinking half a barrel of whiskey, and I thought it was a really good session. I liked the whole Clifford X dynamic, watching that go down and running away and hiding. So I think that leaves us in a really interesting spot for next time, and I'm surprised that we all lived.
But you did. Live to fight another day. Heck yeah. Well, how about you, Fink? Jay Fink, any thoughts for you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was, very stressful kind of watching our friends up north trying to get this staff. And, yeah, man, when you were both hit by attacks, I was just like, we're going to lose 2 people in one session. But yeah, I'm glad we fought all the rats. And I was sitting there like, oh man, it's so bad, because I could tell it was going to take more than 3 rounds to get there. So high possibility that the rats got there and just couldn't do anything with X. And I was like, So the tension was high for sure. Yeah, I think, like from Millie's standpoint, it's like, I think I went down 4 times in that combat.
Mm-hmm. Giving your all to serve the people, for sure.
Had nothing left resource-wise either there, and like a cheese. So just kind of like, how do you, like a person who is literally exhausted but still has to kind of find that energy to do the best they can to help people, which is almost where I am in real life. When I wasn't on camera too much, is my eyeballs are not willing to stay open. They're heavily burning from something.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Probably allergies. However, I am happy to be here, as I said in chat. Happy I was able to muscle my way through. Just didn't want to look at people and be like, they're asleep. No, just going blind. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you were able to make it. Definitely wouldn't be the same without you.
Yeah, I look forward to the divvying out of all this loot, and telling off a noblewoman again and again and again and again.
That'll be interesting to see that play out. See how you all deal with that particular feature of the game. Well, Mythlanders, go ahead. Yeah.
There was definitely a moment where Millie was demonstrating a whole lot more grace than the noblewoman, and I love that juxtaposition where the person who's like supposed to be noble was being a shit, and the person who's supposed to be a street rat is being like noble. I love that. That was, that hit me really, really well. I love that part.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. That was a good character moment. good, showing her quality. And it, yeah.
That was very purposeful. It was like, who's in charge here? What's happening? Where are all these people? What is going on? It's like, take a look around and freaking breathe, woman. The person who just tried to defend you just gave their life to defend you, and all you can think about is yourself.
Well, once you all are in the midst of it, it'll be interesting to see how the people that saw Millie go down on the docks, how they react to her. But we'll get into that sort of next session as you all are traveling, especially once you all are back to the square and everybody really can sort of relax, and the townsfolk who went through all this can process what's happened. And,
something I meant to ask DM, I just forgot to. It's like, with Millie having this kind of golden hue, having stepped through Bridget's flame, how untypical is that? Like, right? Like, how much is our people kind of like, what in the world?
People have only seen that among the priesthood of the Tuatha Dea. Mm-hmm. So it's generally reserved for the highest, because mostly it's nobility and second and third board sons and daughters that are even able to go into the priesthood.
If only all the dirt didn't cover most of my golden skin.
And the blood. But no, there was that moment right before you fell on the docks where the ship's captain saw you and saw that, and recognized something in you. Well, gang, this was an awesome session. Thanks, my players and viewers out there alike. Y'all have a great week. Take good care of yourselves. I went ahead and threw in chat again a little bit up there for y'all to go ahead and join us in Discord. Great place to give all of our players some fantastic and terrible ideas. And just for a place for us to kind of chat throughout the week and hang out and talk about the game and all that stuff. I think we're about to raid out to the Onyx Path and check them out. But you all, thanks again. Have a great night, a great week. Hit me up, message us here get with us on Discord. Whisper us here on Twitch. Get out there, grab the world, make it do it, and play y'all's story. See y'all next week. Say goodnight, Midlanders.
Good night.
Bye,
Good
everybody.
night.
Good night.
We will see y'all next time.
He's got the mind to build a land. Every creature, spell, and grain of sand to Arabelle where life was grand. He brought the stone, now take a stand. Maps and dice, he lays it down. Are we enough to save the crown? A twist of fate, a roll of chance. In Feanor's domain do stories dance. Come join this world where magic flies through caverns dark and open skies. His crafted dreams for us to roam, an epic quest to save our home. He speaks with voices old and wise. Goblins roam and heroes rise. With every turn a new surprise, brought to us to fantasize. From dusty tomes and ancient lore to battles fierce and treasures more, you've got a place, an open door. Adventure calls you can't ignore. Join Feanor's world where magic magic flies through caverns dark and open skies. His crafted dreams for us to roam, an epic quest to save our home.